on to the point. Plus the Dragon Strike, and they're getting no kills off it. T1W is reducing themselves to just the Diva self-destruct. Unhappy still has that, but here's why.
Hi guys, welcome back. We are about to go into the Overwatch Contenders semifinal game 2 against LFZ, with LFZ going up against T1W Esports Club. They're doing the game walkthroughs or the team walk-ins right now. We want to show you that because it's pretty awesome on LAN. We didn't switch back to Chinese. We didn't do any of that. It's just going live now. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more English coverage right after that.
欢迎 LFC 战队。是的，我们的还有几位 LFC 的队员。那么当然 ，LFC 在上一次的半决赛中也是遇到了 T1W。T1W 在这场比赛能否复仇？接下来让我们有请 T1W 登台。有请 T1W。是的，面对上一季的冠军 LFC 战队 ，T1W 能否顶住压力，成功逆袭？让我们一起到比赛当中去寻找答案。我们先有请双方队员入座，有请，Please take your seat. Thank you. 是的，那么这场比赛一触即发，即将开始，究竟会怎样演绎？我们一起把画面交给。
All right, let's get into this. Joining us on the desk, Panda is moving on to cast this one, and we're bringing in the one and only Mr. Kenobi. Hey, that rhymed a little bit. Hello, sir. Good to see you. Yeah, looking fresh. I like it. Well, I'm gonna let you do the honors here. So LFZ versus T1W. This is a big one. What do people need to know going into this match?
Well, there is a lot to unpack here, KT. You know, lucky Zenith versus we've already seen so far during the actually of Contenders China, and we're going to be seeing them play each other again, a matchup that a lot of people have said, I think you mentioned it before, that this should be a grand finals matchup. So this is a little bit of a taste of what we'll probably be seeing. LFZ, only one map loss this entire season, undefeated, 6-0, have not lost a map, but the only
We've
team...
never brought that up before.
I've never brought it up. The only team that we've ever seen take a map off of them was, in fact, T1W. So T1W looking for a little bit of revenge here, and LFZ, you know, looking to make the gods bleed just a little bit more than they already have.
So, Scribe, I have to ask you here. There's a lot of emphasis put on T1W maybe being the best chance for LFZ to lose their first match in Contenders. We watched that match, and we watched that map that they lost. I believe it was Oasis. Was it not? Now I got it myself. Eichenwald. Okay, thank you. Really close. Same hemisphere. Probably not. But so we saw them lose there. Is this a big factor? The fact that they have taken a map from LFZ, is this a big factor in the match today?
I mean, it has to be in the back of your mind, right? When you lose one game, one map, all it takes is for that little bit shred of doubt to seek in, and then that kind of like ruins your entire team composition, right? But I think the big reason why T1W is going to be such a big threat for Zenith is really based on the matchup that they have. I think both teams are extremely good at pressuring. I think T1W really strives when Molanran is basically in the midst of the fight, creating room and basically doing a lot of the staging of the fights. I think they really rely on him being the the brain power behind this composition, as well as being the main initiator. So I think that LZ will be harder pressed to really team fight as well. I think T1W might pull out some very interesting things. They've run quad DPS before, just to overemphasize taking chokeholds and playing corners. So I think it's one of the matchups that both teams have extremely strong fundamentals, and both of them are extremely aggressive and willing to take chances.
So let's talk about one of the wild cards LFZ has yet to fully show us, and that's Yarg. Yarg was added to the LFZ roster from Lucky Future, and, well, he was definitely one of the brightest points in Lucky Future's Contenders. They bowed out early before the playoffs. I almost called you Panda. Kenobi, how do you think Yarg factors in? Do we get to see Yarg today?
It's interesting to see because DM and Erster have been the dynamic duo that we've seen throughout the entirety of Chinese Contenders playoffs. So if they want to maybe put in Yarg to put in like a little bit of spice into their team, maybe get someone, if DM and Erster aren't playing up to their potential, then yeah, you have Yarg as that kind of safety net player. They might, it just depends. They might not need it like they did against HTP. They didn't need Yarg to come in at all. It was just basically DM and Erster styling completely on HTP. So it's a possibility. We could see it. We could see Yarg bring out, some Pharah or some Hanzo characters that he's been very comfortable with so far in the regular season. But I think they're going to have to be pushed by T1W to put in Yarg.
And we don't know necessarily, because Yarg has played, I believe, 2 maps, and it was in week 5. He played 2 maps, and of course, that was the Overwatch League Grand Final. We didn't cast that weekend, and we didn't actually get any video footage of it, as far as I know. So we don't even know necessarily how well he looked or how big of an impact he had in those games. On the other side, though, we talked about Yarg for LFZ. Molanran Scribe is definitely one of those players who's at least had the ability to make the biggest impacts on this T1W squad, kind of outshining Crystal a little bit even. I don't know if I want to say that. Not necessarily outshining, but he's adding something to this team that every time we walk away and it's just like, wow, Molanran played such a huge role in this match. What are you expecting from him today?
I definitely expect a lot of Sombra play. I mean, I think T1W, if for example, if LFZ is the strongest team in the region, I think T1W is probably the most new meta team in the region. I think a lot of that does rely on Molanran's ability to play a very strong Pharah, as well as his willingness to almost play anything else. We have seen him play Ana when his team wants to run a specifically anti-Genji strat. We see his Brigitte. We've seen him run Sombra. He's willing to play anything. And that's really big. But the one thing I do want to emphasize is that I would still say Crystal is probably the focal point still. The reason why Molanran is getting so much praise is because for someone who doesn't get as many resources and sometimes seems like he's running in solo, he definitely opens up a lot of the room. But Crystal is a person who's been capitalizing off that room a lot more, especially if he's on Widow, on McCree, or on anything that really can start hyper carrying his team a little more. Crystal is going to be the big factor here. I think that even though Molanran is going to be drawing a little of attention here, it's all going to come down to execution of Crystal on these maps.
Yeah, and something that we saw, coming out from, we didn't see coming out from Lucky Future Zenith throughout a lot of their time playing this season and just in the quarterfinals, is we didn't see that Sombra play. And at this point in the current meta, Sombra is probably the best counter to Sombra. So it's going to be interesting to see if LFZ have been working on their Sombra play just a little bit, see if they can counter Molanran and Sombra, because last time when T1W played Team CC, Molanran styled all over Team CC with their Sombra, and Team CC were just allergic to playing Sombra at that point, so Molanran had a lot of free space, and that is, Sombra as a character is not someone you can let go unabated. You have to deal with it, you have to figure out a way, and so far I think Sombra is the best way to do it.
So as we go in, of course, I'm going to make you, I want Scribe to get one of these right. So we're going to flip it here for predictions. Kenobi, I'm going to let you go first. I'm going to let you go first. Who walks away with the W today? What's your prediction here?
I think it's going to be LFZ taking it. I think history is going to repeat itself, taking it 3-1. Unless something drastic happens that changes my mind, LFZ just look like the strongest team. They're just, I'll flat out say they're the strongest team in the region, and T1W really has to bring everything today to even have a chance to win this game. So I think it's going to be LFZ winning 3-1.
All right, Scrab, you can agree, you can disagree, you can do whatever you want. What are you picking here?
What's the fun in picking the easy answer, man?
Getting
T1W.
one
being
right?
right, being right,
Yeah,
being right.
jeez, yeah.
I mean, it's all about being entertaining here, but I think T1W is gonna. I can foresee them getting some potential upsets. Obviously, I think that T1W has a lot of flexibility even in the tank pool itself. Silver 3 will probably play up to 4 to plus like tank champions. Wallenrun could play almost anything. I think his Pharah is very dangerous, and it's actually going to make Ursa's life a little more difficult in the air, especially since LFZ does prioritize heavy pressure with that Pharah. So I think there's a lot of potential matchups that LFZ might not be entirely prepared for. I think T1W, if they continue to stick to the guns like they have all season, continue to play extremely strong, I think they're going to be able to catch LFZ off guard, and I think they're going to make LFZ play respectable. I think it's going to be very close here.
So this was going to be the question I was going to ask you next is, do you think that, you know, as we've been watching LFZ, we've kept saying, like, I don't know if we've totally seen everything that LFZ has up their sleeves. Do you think that we finally see LFZ's hand in this match, Kenobi?
I think it's definitely possible. Again, I think a lot of it's predicated on T1W pushing them to that limit, because we saw last week against HEP, LFZ was just fine playing whatever they wanted to do. They were very comfortable in how they were playing. So it's going to be a lot of T1W has to bring that out of them. And then at that point, I think we'll start to see some different things, hopefully for LFC, because LFC does have a tendency to stick on things they're comfortable with and say, we know we're good at this. We know that we can win with just our mechanical skill, but sometimes mechanical skill only takes you so far in counter-picked heroes.
And Scrab, you might have touched on this earlier and I might have just missed it, but what role do you expect Crystal to play today?
He's gonna be the core of this. He's gonna be the engine, if anything. If Wallenrun's gonna be the ignition here, Crystal needs to make sure he's able to sustain here. LFZ is extremely good at punishing when you over-aggress, and Crystal needs to be extremely careful he doesn't get leaped on in the backline. He needs to make sure he's playing with his tanks very well. He understands the spacing, is able to, you know, slide out in and out of contact with the enemy tanks. So that's going to be the most important part here. Crystal needs to stay alive, needs to execute, and only then is he going to be able to take down DM. If anything, you know, DM is going to be that other player that we want to look out for, because Urster, a lot of projectile presence, but DM has been the silent killer in the background, though. He's been a great defender, extremely good at playing passive, and I think he has the mechanics to take on anyone.
Yeah, a lot of pressure on Crystal. I'd say I agree with the Scribe there. A lot of the how T1W played and when they beat LFZ was Silver and Unhappy would just dive in and give their bodies over to LFZ so that Crystal could pop off in the backline. But Crystal, that puts a lot of pressure on him. So if he's not getting those shots and they're losing bodies for it, that could be very detrimental to T1W. So they need to be very, very careful, because as Scribe mentioned, LFZ is a team that will punish you if you make mistakes.
Do you think that we're finally going to see some Sombra play from LFZ? I know we were discussing earlier, and LFZ, for doing as well as they've done in playoffs, they did not run hardly any Sombra. They haven't really changed their play style at all with the new changes in patch 1.26. Do you think that was just a consideration that, hey, we're not going to change anything unless we have to? We're not going to show that hand. We're really good at doing this. We're going to keep doing this until someone forces us to change? Or could it possibly be, is there a world that exists where LFZ might be in a little bit of trouble adapting to a new meta when they're challenged toe-to-toe?
I think it's just a little bit hard to say, because I think LFZ will only bring out things if they're forced to bring it out. If they think that they can beat you mechanically one-on-one, I think they'll continue to play whatever they're comfortable with and try counterpicking a little. When it comes to Sombra, if they feel like they need to counter Molenren's Sombra that we're going to be seeing, most likely, like Team CC didn't, I think they'll be much quicker to bring it out than Team CC was. I mean, these guys are not 1-0 for a reason, right? They're undefeated, so they definitely have a lot of that mechanical skill and game knowledge, but they sometimes do take a little bit while to adapt. But hopefully it takes them a lot shorter than Team CC took to adapt to a Sombra, because I think that was the real detrimental for them. So I think LFZ needs to, bring it up just a little bit.
Fair enough. Well, we're going into map number 1. It's going to be Oasis. Every time they've had the choice, LFZ has picked this match, and they've won it every single time. We're going to your casters right now. The Bosco, Panda, go ahead, guys. Take it away.
Thank you very much, Kick Tripod. Great stuff from Scribe and Kenobi as well. Panda, I'm excited here for map number 1. We know we're going to Oasis, and it looks like we have both teams just about ready here. 5-0 Lucky Future Zenith versus 3-2 T1W Esports Club, a matchup from last season's semifinals, Panda.
Yeah, a matchup that we have seen well before, and the last time that these two met up in the group stage as well, T1W, like the desk was mentioning, took that map off of Eichenwald. That is huge. I mean, if you're walking into this game on land here for T1W, you're going to take that and you're going to try to run with it. Lucky Future Zenith, we know they enjoy having a good time. They're full of laughs, but when everybody's on the same amount of ping, everybody's on the same level, things can change, and I'm excited to see what T1W brings into this current patch at that.
To go back to that playoffs last year, it was a 3-2 win for Lucky Future Zenith, who would go on to win the championship. They want to go back to the finals this year and face the same team that they saw last year in LGD Gaming, as we get our first look here of the team comps for both of these sides. As we look at LFZ, who's going to be in the green here, Erster and DM, they're already on the Farah and McCree. They know what they want to do. They're going to have that Reinhardt Zarya as well.
Yeah, and as we're loading in here to Gardens of Oasis, you see Mulrun hanging out on that Sombra pick we talked about on the desk, and we've talked about it plenty much in this current patch. It's a hero that you have to be pretty intimidated by, but Silver 3 coming out on the Wrecking Ball with Unhappy on the Zarya. This is a composition we haven't seen, but Crystal with the Doomfist looking to set up a Space Jam combo, perhaps with Unhappy.
Got taken a little bit low there was Crystal, now comes in, puts some damage in. Lucid able to get Silver at the start here, but Silver also trading for that one, so we're even 5v5 here at the start of this fight. Crystal flanking around now, looking for a target here on the side of LFZ. LFZ, though, in a good position here to try and take this, and Melanron gets pushed off the map, so a good start here, and LFZ taking the point here at the start.
And Silver 3 ending up getting back to the point. We know Wrecking Ball is good at that. He can clear distance in a very quick amount of time, but look at the re-entry from Lucky Future Zenith, rather. They're just taking this by storm now.
And I said it was LFZ, but it was T1W who took it. LFZ, though, clearing off the point, and now they are well in control, and Melanron has to go back towards his team, as now pushing forward is the rest of LFZ, as they're going to try and control the doors.
And this is the hardest part here for T1W to deal with Urser in the sky as Farah. Who's going to necessarily find these shots? Who's going to protect Illusion on this Ana as well? You want to keep that pocketing alive, but Mulrun on the quick stealth mode. The hack to cancel out the res, that is huge.
Not able to get the Mercy, though, and Marvel with the charge able to get one. Urster able to get another here as Marvel just swinging that hammer right now. His team, though, in a good position. Unhappy, though, able to take out Urster, so a lot of damage gone there from the Farah. Michelle, though, Ollie fully charged here, dealing a lot of damage out to Unhappy, but a good bubble at least keeps them alive, but they're still building up percentage here on the point, already up to 40%. Has the Graviton surges. Michelle grabs 2 here, and they will quickly clean this up here, Panda.
Oh man, Michelle has been high energy and high charge this entire time on the Zarya. Is falling a little low here. We'll get the heals that he needs. Illusion's about to have another nano boost here to cycle through, but Mulrun used the EMP to no avail in that last fight, and just look at the confidence from Lucky Future Zenith. They know 60% to their control charge now, that the only way that they're going to be able to win this is if they catch somebody with Marvel's Earth Shatter, but a good hack from Mulrun is going to go ahead and send that Reinhardt pack.
Space Jam is available for T1W as well here, so they do have a couple of options on the table. Marvel, like you said, going to be getting that Earth Shatter here in this fight, so still some potential here for T1W, though, but LFZ in a pretty good spot. Almost get the hack off onto Unhappy, not quite able to get it off for Melanron, as he's now trying to just deal some damage out. Graviton Surge grabs 2, Space Jam works, Crystal's able to get 2, now jumps in, gets another one here, and another one by Wyatt, so it's a really good start here for T1W, as they'll retake this point here, but 95% built up for LFC.
A wise friend once told me everybody has a plan until they get punched in the jaw, and Crystal clearly showing us that right there. Space Jam is still a very deadly combo. Mulrun should have a EMP on this next push. He's going to go ahead and find that last bit of ult charge, but Silver 3 should have the mines from the Wrecking Ball as well, with Illusion hanging around on the nano boost. It's going to come down to Urster's Farah Barrage and DM's Deadeye to really turn the fight here for Lucky Future Zenith, and Lucid just getting the Transcendence at 95% control charge here. LFZ needs to find a re-entry.
The Wrecking Ball ultimate used didn't really do anything. Erster with the start on a Crystal is a good one and might have gotten the boop off there. Not quite though, but he comes in and he gets one with the barrage and got Michelle beforehand. So he did get the boop off on Silver as well. It was just a little bit late coming up there, but still they get able to get this point back. They don't have any ultimates here for this fight, but it might not matter. They quickly take him out. DM helping with that elimination as the overtime meter just goes down, and it's 1-0 at the start for LFZ.
Some moments too long. Nobody taking swaps from T1W to directly deal with Ursa. You know, we always talk about here in Overwatch that there are those fares that you can let be in the sky as they're just whittling you down with area of effect damage here, Labasco. But Ursa has been landing back-to-back direct rockets like it's literally his job. And that only helps out DM to not feel any pressure whatsoever, to always have those shots available to come back and have a Deadeye charge, setting the win condition for LFC time and time again. But T1W looked really good there, for not all things considering. They didn't have a main tank, as we're going to have a brief pause here in between maps, setting up here for the Botanical Gardens off of University. LFC taking it, but not in the commanding fashion I'm sure that they wished.
They were in there, like you said, for T1W, Panda. So now looking at them, since we're going to Gardens, you don't want to see Wrecking Ball again, do you? Is this something, obviously this is a, Gardens fair heavy map, especially. What changes do they need to be making here to sort of deal with what LFZ was showing them?
I like Illusion coming out here on the Ana. It's a lot of healing that can happen and a lot of anti-healing that can happen against the enemy team of Lucky Future Zenith. Seems to be a good answer, but you need to be able to keep Ana alive. The only way you can do so is by pairing along the tried and true tank combination of Reinhardt and Zarya, moving together as an absolute unit. As we're going over to Gardens, however, Labasco, it is Fair's playground, so I'm very interested to see if we're going to see that play coming out from T1W, and if Mercy Zenyatta is going to be the support picks of choices, as LFZ did just show us that on University. A lot of people always assume that the 3-3 or GOATS composition, like many of you know and love today, should be the pick, as everybody likes to slap each other on the opening entries of that point, but that's exactly why Erster came out on the Pharah, and landing those direct rockets really enabled the rest of his team to find what they needed.
It really seemed like Erster and DM were really doing a lot for their team. Their tanks were creating some space for them, obviously, too, but I mean, it seemed like the focal point was still the DPS of LFZ. So when you're thinking about that as T1W, how do you go about shutting down both of them? Because it seemed like when one wasn't really doing a whole lot, the other one was. I mean, Erster with that boop off too on Wrecking Ball was huge.
Yeah, and missing the hook to get back on there as well. It's a very short cooldown, but it definitely drops you down low if you can't get it down quick enough. But to deal with a fire in the sky like that, there's a multitude of things that you can do, obviously. You can try to dive away the backline of Lucky Future Zenith with a Winston and Diva, or you could take some of the more damage mitigating tanks, such as Ryan Diva on that concept as well, shielding up the backline for Ana to stay alive, letting the Diva fly and defense matrix as many rockets as possible to create more space. We know that the tanks are always fantastic at doing that in Overwatch, but it really comes down to the DPS picks with that McCree buff especially. I would like to see the DPS picks coming out from T1W, either from Crystal or Molarun, to deal with it effectively. The Des talked about it. Molarun has a very strong Pharah, and Crystal has a very strong hit scan as well. If they swap to it, it's up to them, but at that point, it's their map to lose.
Now let's talk about the Reinhardts for both of these teams too, Panda, because I thought that was an area too where maybe things could have gone a little bit better for T1W. Talk about that matchup, because I mean, especially when you have Ryan versus Ryan, those sort of mind games are just so important.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and when you're facing a legendary main tank such as Marvel, we know that he has a strong Reinhardt, a strong Winston as well. He likes to get inside your head as well, and that might be T1W's angle, if you will, to just kind of maneuver your way around it, per se, and let the Doomfist of Crystal just kind of anti him away from the front line as well, just playing a little bit of pinball. But when Reinhardt is just able just to walk forward, hold down that proverbial W key, and just get all the cleave damage off in the world, it's going to be very devastating, not only for a Zarya to gain charge, but for an Ana to find proper positioning and to land those heals.
I think it's a good point that you point out about Crystal doing that. But one thing that I noticed was when Crystal was coming around at the very start, the first thing that happens is a great prediction. Firestroke came out from Marvel. Like, that to me is one of those things when you know somebody knows what they're doing on a character. I think Marvel maybe doesn't get as much credit as he deserves at times for LFZ, because he just does his job so well, where he kind of goes unnoticed because he enables the rest of his team.
Well, that's one of the better parts about a main tank right there. The foundation, the rock of the team, if you will. And when you're surrounded by big players such as DM, Urser, and Michelle as well, you may not get all the flashy kill feed, or final blows in the world, but he is definitely there creating space, finding the opportunities for the rest of his teammates.
He definitely is. And you look at the rest of the way that this went, I think that T1W still has a pretty good chance here. I think we're going to take a timeout here, though. We're kind of in a long pause here, although as I say that, now we're getting back into game. So never mind about that. So we're actually going to stick with it here as they're already going in on the map as well, as we quickly get to take a look at the comps for both teams. Crystal on the Widowmaker here, so maybe that's their answer, as LFZ already with a good start. Marvel on the Wrecking Ball here. Crystal, though, able to get Lucid, and now Silver able to get IDK. So a pretty good start here, but the point close to being over to the side of T1W as they're starting to get this one going their way. Just a couple more players. Marvel's going to have to try and escape here, it looks like, as Erster also going to have to try and regroup. So good start for T1W Esports here on Gardens.
Yeah, Unhappy's going to be without the mech, but it is a wrecking ball of a time here in between Marvel and Silver 3. Marvel will be 30% shy of that ultimate, but DM coming out here on the Sombra. This is what the Desk talked about. They haven't been pushed to the point, Lucky Future Zenith, to play out the Sombra, but now you can see its power just forcing T1W into a corner and just stuffing them, taking all of their abilities away.
Oh, nice hack here, too, by DM onto Wrecking Ball, and they quickly clear this point, and they're already starting to build up. So they lost the first two fights on both of these maps we've seen, Panda, but here they are with control, sitting in a great spot with ultimates.
And Silver 3 is going to go over to the Winston, so they're going to have a full shield and main tank to go along with Unhappy, so it's going to be a core dive on Crystal, swapping to the McCree to try to shut down the area. But it won't be doing much if you get stuck like that from Urster. Good pulse bomb.
Erster with a good start here. Michelle getting another one slapped, but it's not going to matter because LFZ is pushing everyone back towards those spawn doors as Erster gives a little wave to the camera.
And with T1W coming out on the composition that they did, it was a lot of ult charge that was given over to Lucky Future Zenith, and now that they took the swaps accordingly after losing the second team fight here on Gardens, they're going to have a little bit more of a back-footing kind of feel for this fight here, Labasco, as they have to get in and use this nano boost effectively along with Unhappy Self-Destruct, but here comes an EMP.
Really good, gets a couple of targets. Marvel uses the Wrecking Ball ult to get two as well, so just forced back again. This T1W Esports, they can't get any momentum here on this Gardens map, already up to 58% here. There's still some mines in the way as well for them when if they try to come down main.
Yeah, and they're going to have to try to find another option. That's one of the better parts about Gardens. There's about 3 to maybe 4 different points that you can take the attack. And now T1W is just trying to build up that proverbial ult bank. It's giving Lucky Future Zenith the ability to do so as well. Nano boost on to the hamster. That is quite a lot of power.
Molanran, though, able to get Erster at the start of this fight, so maybe there's a chance here for T1W to win this one. Michelle has the self-destruct available here, waiting for that sleep to end, as Michelle just allowing their team to stall. They're already up to 85%, so this looks like it's going to be a losing fight for LFC, just trying to come back. Crystal with the Deadeye, able to get Lucid, so they're winning this fight here, taking them a while to do it. 95%, almost 94 actually, it gets to for LFZ.
Using about 4 ultimates to do so, Labasco. They had to use the rally as top of the Transcendence as well. IDK is going to have the sound barrier from Lucio, so Lucky Future Zenith is going to have a certain amount of over-sustainability walking into the next fight. Could help Michelle find a nice placement for that self-destruct as Urser is building up another pulse bomb, looking for a nice target to stick.
Preemptive self-destruct, throw the pulse bomb in. It doesn't get anybody though for Urser. Looked like maybe he had a chance to get the McCree. DM had to run away now, and he's behind. Paxton has his EMP ready. We'll see if he decides to use it in this fight. Marvel right now on to the Brigitte. Gets that first elimination here. So now here's the chance. Michelle with 2 here as he's able to get Unhappy out of mech and then take him out. Crystal, though, still trying to just deal damage out. They're up to 65%. Gets hacked, though. Is Crystal stuck in the corner, getting bullied there, but his team starting to maybe try and get this one to switch back around. Silver on the point here, trying to get the Ana down, and Lucid, and does so as they're going to be able to hold on to this. So this fight looked like LFC had a chance. They're not able to win it. T1W in a good position, 81%.
The last team fight scenario here, Labasco. No support ultimates across the board, though a nano boost can be accrued from Lucid in the moments of time. They're going to have a Deadeye from Crystal, and Silver 3 is about to have a Primal Rage, so T1W setting up a defense very, very comfortably over here. Urster has a Pulse Bomb, is going to be the difference for Lucky Future Zenith to take this.
That's the only ultimate that they're probably going to have available, at least at the start here. Crystal popping off the Deadeye here at the start, tries to drop down. Unhappy in Waya doing a good stop. Erster does manage to get him a long run, but it might be too little too late. They've already lost 2. Overtime meter still going here. Silver pushing away Erster, who can't even get to the point. DM does manage to get Illusion out of the fight. IDK with another one here. Crystal still trying to deal damage out. He's so low. His team able to keep him up. There's still a chance here for the side of LFC. Silver having to jump away as he's getting low, but his Brigitte back into this fight. DM, though, taking out Crystal here. And now Michelle. So here's their chance to flip this, and they do get the flip at 96%. Have to hurry back is T1W. Good boop at 99%. They just get back on here. Sound barrier going to be used by IDK. Michelle able to get Silver at the start of this one. They're forcing back the rest of this team, but Milan ran with a good shield bash, and then the chef to get this one here. There's still a chance for the side of T1W Esports. Michelle just trying to deal that damage out. Crystal and Malamran starting to switch it around. Crystal looking for another one onto the wrecking ball as he finally gets taken out here. They're going to be able to flip this one back over. T1W, somebody just able to get back. EMP into the air, but it might not matter. Only one player left in Erster on the Doomfist trying to desperately get this one down, but they can't get it, and T1W ties it up 1-1.
T1W taking a round off of LFC. You've got to be feeling great after that as we walk into Control Center. This is probably Lucky Future Zenith's best map out of the rotation of Oasis Labasco, but never in the end. Mola Run was absolutely a spectacle there. On the final moments, he found 2, if not then 3, with the different cooldowns from the whip shot and the shield bash to set up Crystal, who came back as the Tracer to pop off that much further. Marvel had to come back on the Wrecking Ball, and there were multiple swaps for stall heroes, but the real story of it all was when the EMP came through, it didn't find anybody that was all too inclusive on their cooldowns. There was a Moira instead of a Zenyatta there, but as we're loading in here to City Center Labasco, it's going to be the Covenant main tank Hamster with a Reaper, as Michelle is, don't forget, is the flex and off tank for Lucky Future Zenith. A really awkward composition, but it pays dividends.
It paid dividends for them last time, and now here we are on the final map in City Center. They needed to work here, as coming on to the point is LFZ. They kind of went around. Marvel with a good start, getting the elimination on to Silver. So the Doomfist quickly out here. Crystal gets hacked as well, as they're just trying to take out these last couple players. DM gets Crystal here. Erster still dealing damage out, avoiding the Brigitte here, as they will finally get this point. As Molanran, though, trying to get this back maybe here, but DM gets Molanran. So this should still be in favor of LFZ.
And look at T1W's special of a composition as well. They actually have no tanks, but a certain amount of ability to create a decent amount of space. Molarun is up in the air, and not necessarily anybody to deal with it now that Erster swaps over to the Soldier 76. But this is just Control Center at its finest. The fight's still happening in the center of the point, and EMP from DM comes through.
Marvel able to get 2 there, actually gets 3 with those bombs, and now they just have Waya, who's not going to be able to get away, and they quickly get Crystal. So the team wipe here, and they're up to 30%. As far as ultimates go, too, Listed has that rally.
It's a super squad comp coming out here from T1W, so Molarun's going to be able to have an Fair Barrage walking in here, and Illusion on the quote-unquote solo support has healed enough to get a Valkyrie ultimate, so there's going to be a certain amount of sustainability if this team can play together. Lucky Future Zenith had to commit 2 ultimates to that, and Erster swapped the Soldier, so it's not going to be a Tac Visor coming out anytime soon, just a bunch of armor to get through from Lucid to forget them.
Erster coming onto the point here, trying to come around, but Crystal, with the help of Molanran's Barrage, able to get 4 down there quickly, with Unhappy helping as well. So they will quickly wipe this, and they'll start to build their percentage. They didn't use a lot there either, Panda.
They had to use both support ultimates, but the Brigitte's rally is perfect in that sense that there's still armor on each one of these individuals for T1W Esports. So Lucky Future Zenith needs to find a key amount of picks and damage, not only to mitigate all of that armor as Molarun loses his, but Erster with the Tactical Visor needs to be careful on the positioning and where he stands to pop it out, because chewing through that armor, you know, Labasco, is not an easy task for a soldier.
And Silver starts it off the right way, getting that kill with that slam down, then uses his ultimate to help out with Crystal here. He gets another one as well, as LFC here in a bad position, up to 31% is T1W. And again, they're using only a few ultimates ahead in the ult economy.
It's just absolutely ridiculous, too. Michelle is put into overdrive mode now, coming back on the Diva. Doesn't know who to defense matrix. It's going to be the Pulse Rifle from Unhappy or Molarun's Farah Rockets coming from the sky. And they have Unhappy's Tactical Visor against Ursters as well, but the real play here is Crystal's Dragon Blade looking for the opening, and here it comes.
Quickly able to get some help by Unhappy. He doesn't get anything on the blade, but his team is doing the work around him. But trying to counter here is Erster with his visors. Team is able to get two, so we're pretty even here in this fight. Self-destruct comes out. Unhappy able to get away from it here. The point is getting contested. T1W does take the alt lead in the meantime, but players are falling on their side. Erster able to stay alive here through that one as they do take it back for LFZ.
And they didn't really use all too many convicting ultimates there too. They had to use the Tactical Visor, and then Marvel had to use the remote mines as well. So with Crystal coming back here on the Tracer looking for backline pressure, he's going to be looking for Lucid to get all of the healing up and out of the way. This is probably the most back-footed Lucky Future Zenith has felt on Control Center in quite some time, but T1W is bringing it to them. Silver 3 with the Meteor Smash is probably going to be looking for that backline pressure as well under the Valkyrie of Illusion.
As they start off with the sound barrier here for LFZ at the start of the fight. Silver dropping in, not able to get anybody, but Mohanran finds an opportunity. DM though with the good pulse is able to get Waya out. Losing the mech though is Michelle, almost getting taken out there. DM though still in this fight, gets the mercy before the res. It just got off in time, but still a chance here as it's at 99% for Lucky Future Zenith. They don't have much left on the point. Erster using the ult here as they have too many players on the side of T1W as he's just trying to deal this damage up. Comes through with the Diva though to push them away as they should get the flip back here as T1W not going easily for this first map as they reflip it.
Last team fight scenario here, Labasco and Unhappy coming back on the Diva, well noted, will have a self-destruct for his worth. Defense Matrix into Erster's Tactical Visor absolutely mitigated all of the damage that he was looking for, and now Lucky Future Zenith is only going to have a Pulse Bomb and a couple of tank ultimates to play around. IDK swapping over to the Mercy with Ursa on the Ferret just to try to damage boost a Ferret Barrage as quick as possible. Could be very difficult to deal with.
Crystal very close to this pulse bomb, trying to build it up here now. Found his target, maybe 2-4 it is. He's about to get it. Won't get so low, has to use the recall here. DM though on the other side, able to get a kill. Michelle now able to get Milanran out of the sky here. DM misses the pulse, but he's still on the Mercy, keeping the pressure. Self-destruct in desperation. Crystal able to get Lucid though, so one of those healers out. Crystal looking for the Mercy as well. Stuck in a corner here, and IDK gets taken out. T1W has a chance here, but they're losing players on the point. Michelle here, though, the only one left, but they're getting kills. Crystal here, as he's the only one left, does get the tank out. Erster dealing the damage out, gets the Diva out, and now they just have the Wrecking Ball. They get it to flip. The overtime meter goes too fast. LFC, by the skin of their teeth, able to win this first map. Panda, that was an awesome first map, though, and if that's any indication of what we're going to see, we might be in for a good ride.
Especially going into Hybrid, Labasco, this is where T1W made an outing for their matchup against Lucky Future Zenith, but Lucky Future Zenith, like I was mentioning in the midst of that team fight there for Control, or for City Center rather, that was probably the most back-footed I have seen this team on Control in their entire phase of Season 3 Contenders. That was absolutely insanity, and I am so happy to see what T1W is able to bring, just forcing Lucky Future Zenith to actually play the game properly here on Chinese Contenders, and especially for semifinals, you cannot raise the stakes any higher.
There's no question that T1W has a little bit more confidence going into map number 2, that they had this one close. There's no reason for them to not be confident in themselves, but they're going to need a minute here to take a break, take a breath, regroup, reconvene, and make sure that they're ready for map number 2. We're going to take a break as well, and when we come back, we'll have that map number 2 for you here on Contenders. We're back here on Contenders China semifinals. Lucky Future Zenith versus T1W Esports Club. Labasco and Panda here for you. We had a hype game number 1, a close one. Oasis going to LFZ, Panda, but T1W looking alive here, making LFZ make meta picks.
Yeah, really forcing them to play the game in their own right as well. We saw DM attempting to come out on the Sombra, and we saw that weird composition coming out that they know and love on City Center with the Wrecking Ball and Michelle on the Reaper. And T1W absolutely pushed them against the wall and made them come back on a comfortable pick. As we're loading into Hybrid here, Labasco, we know in the past, in the group stage, this is where T1W made LFZ bleed a bit, but it's not Eichenwald, it's Kings Row. Both of these teams have a 100% win rate on Kings Row. So the play of the matter is up in the air because Oasis was just so close in the sense that Lucky Future Zenith didn't take it in a convincing fashion, in my opinion, that this is going to be a slobber knocker of a map.
LFZ is definitely not feeling like the invincible Titan that they've seemed all season long. There's no doubt about that one. T1W, they have to be confident, even though they lost that first map, and Hybrid is the map type, like you said, where they've taken this team and have beaten them before. Want to remind everybody, too, last semifinals was close last year, so looking for revenge is T1W Esports. They want to dethrone the kings of this, and of course, LFZ, they want to win 2 Contenders championships in a row. If they do it, too, by the way, they'll be the first team to do it in Contenders as well. There's other teams with the possibility, but of course, with the championship being tomorrow, they'll do it. As now, Panda, we get to see our comps here, and any surprises for you for this one?
Some pretty standard stuff coming out here for the defending team. Ursa with the McCree is going to be looking for the area mitigation. Is actually going to flop back over to the fair. They still have a decent amount of time to figure out what the composition is that they want to play, but the core of it all is going to be a deathball format here, Labosco. It's going to be Marvel on the Reinhardt, Michelle on the Zarya, so they don't have all the high ground takeaway that most teams like to do here with an Orisa and Diva in the previous patch, but they're going to roll out with a double sniper composition. This is a very strong composition that Lucky Future Zenith loves to play on their hybrid maps, but is it going to be able to deal with the dive that T1W is about to unfold on?
Molanran too on the Sombra for this dive as well. So a little bit of a different look here coming out from the side of T1W here. Not that it's unusual for what the meta is right now, as we now go to the view of the Widowmaker and DM, who's quickly getting dove by the Winston, has to use his grapple to get away. Now in a more safe position here, but he has less room to get line of sight on players and get those shots off. So at least pushing him into a vulnerable position, at least as far as what he's able to do, is a good start for the side of T1W. Now moves to that window on the other side. Molanran searching for him, it looks like here, as well as Crystal dealing damage out on the point. Trying to get Unhappy down. They get Marvel at the start here. So a good start here. DM has to back away. So this is looking like it's going to be a very quick take here for the side of T1W.
A very quick nano boost over here for Illusion. I love the Ana pick because Silver 3 and Unhappy can just continue to challenge these snipers and then dive back and let the Ana heal for a quick nano boost, but the Dragon Strike was already accrued.
Able to get one with it and also have the charge back in, but Unhappy here gets the boost there from the Ana, and they're able to get this point regardless. So what looked like maybe a chance for LFC to get back in, closed quickly by T1W as they start that over 5 minutes on the clock here for this Streets phase.
And this is what this attacking composition does, right? Quick support ultimates to set up the tanks at that point, and the tank ultimate should be coming around the corner here, but the real play of the Streets phase will be Crystal, 20% shy of a Dragon Blade, and Lucid, 30% shy of a Transcendence. If he gets this before Lucid gets the Transcendence, Crystal's Dragon Blade is going to be very devastating. Lucky Future Zenith not taking any swaps to Forget to try to deal with it accordingly, but Ursa needs some heals so that way he stays alive.
Both main tanks taken out by Divas here at the start of the fight. Unhappy, though, will lose the mech here, so put in a bad spot on Molanran, of course, with this EMP here, looking for the Zenyatta, who's kind of caught a bad spot. See if they quickly take him. Oh, he's able to trans and get away. It's the good thing for him. Michelle, though, able to take out Crystal in this time, too, so it's ending up in a good space, as now they get the Dragon Blade. Erster with one. Reflex gets another one with the help of Michelle, and has to force away a very, very low instant. He's so close to being taken out is Silver. He's trying to get back to his team, and he gets staggered out hard. So Lucky Future Zenith stabilizing here on Streets. 4:10, though, still on the clock for T1W.
And T1W is very happy to take that loss of a team fight as well, because they got the Transcendence out from Lucid. So now the Nano Boost onto Crystal's Genji for the Nano Blade is about to stick that much deeper. It's going to come down to Marvel's Earthshatter to stop it, or DM's EMP to hack him out of his dash resets and really stuff him in his tracks.
EMP going to be used by Molanran here, though, first. Doesn't really seem to get a whole lot here. His team able to take out Lucid, though, at the start of this fight. So it's not a bad start for them. They're forcing back everybody else. Erster, though, dashing takes out Molanran. So we're 5v5 still here, but very close to getting taken out was the Ana. Silver, though, able to get IDK at the start. Crystal with the Dragon Blade here out now, looking to try and get one. Now looking for another tank. Not able to get it, but it doesn't matter. He did enough with that blade that they're going to be able to probably push this the rest of the way as they chase a couple of limbs here. DM quickly taken out, and Silver getting healed up quickly.
Silver 3 has been playing like an absolute animal, and that's not just because of the tank that he's playing as well. He's finding all of these nice dive opportunities and has been synchronized with Unhappy through and through, enabling Crystal to find a nice blade without the nano boost, keep in mind you. And now that Mola runs on the Brigitte, more space is going to be available for Crystal to do his thing.
Pay attention to that Brigitte pick here as Michelle dealing damage onto, as like you said, here comes out the bash onto Marvell, but he's able to stay alive. And like you said, Bastion here from DM. We'll see if this works for them too. See where he's set up. Haven't been able to see him yet, but at least he's in a decent position. He's getting so close, gets taken out here by Waya. Self-destruct over the top here. Doesn't get anybody. Blade out from Erster onto the Ana. Oh, he gets slapped. Oh, what a sweep here. Crystal now into the back line. He's into the Transcendence too. Molanran able to get Erster after he was slapped. Self-destruct here. Crystal now popping his blade. Quickly takes out Michelle. Quickly the self-destruct, forcing back another one as they're going to be able to get this one if they can quickly get these last couple eliminations. 3:38 left onto the clock as they're pushing through this final little bit. Just have to get the staggers out onto these last few. Erster trying to get out to the doors as finally Michelle able to get on. Molanra just swinging that rocket flare around, finally able to get him out. Silver using the Primal Rage to try and push people away from the cart as they're finally getting those last few limbs, as they should be able to get this here. All but the Pulse Bomb, they can't get anything with it. T1W big time onto the clock here, and LFC, they need a good push themselves.
Welcome back to the meta, Miss Grandma of Ana. I gotta say that the one thing that we miss more than anything coming out from Ana players is that big sleep dart onto ulting Genjis, and Illusion shows us why. 3 minutes and 15 seconds on King's Row versus Lucky Future Zenith. That is absolutely insanity. DM coming out there on the surprise Bastion really didn't find what he was looking for. I couldn't even tell you what he was really looking for. At the end of it, maybe a little bit of that armor's destruction against Mola Run on the Brigitte. There wasn't any time nor space available to do so because Unhappy with that timely self-destruct just enabled the rest of the team in between Crystal and Silver 3's dive to go that much deeper. So now Lucky Future Zenith, they find themselves on the back foot once more, and they're going to have to try to not only capture all 3 points, but to do it in a snowball fashion to have more time available for themselves. T1W, on the other hand, they like what they've been doing, but they're going to stick Silver 3 back onto the hamster with Unhappy onto the Zarya.
T1W looks like maybe that they're going to stick with what's gotten them here, although they're going to have the Wrecking Ball. How does Wrecking Ball make a difference here, Panda?
A Wrecking Ball is, in a certain amount of understanding, he's able to create so much more spacing than Winston is able to do so with his pile drive ability, and it really gives Molarun the open opportunity to stealth around and to find backline picks a lot easier and a lot more of a simplistic fashion. The only difference is in a standard composition, a little tip your hat to Team South Korea in Overwatch World Cup, is that Unhappy, their flex tank is on Zarya, so it's more or less going to be a lot more of a backline mitigation to any damage to come through, rather than a D.Va to try to go in with Silver 3. But the attacking team of Lucky Future Zenith, they don't want to have no part of that. They're going to put DM on to the Widowmaker and try to find any of these picks, as there's no shield to keep Waya and Illusion alive if they're out of position.
And DM, a very good Widowmaker, we know that. One of his best friends is Carpe, who's also one of the best Widow players that there is in the Overwatch League, if not the best one in Overwatch League. So see if he can do his friend justice, and he starts off getting silver here. So very good start for the side of Lucky Future Zenith. Oh, Marvel gets sleep here and quickly gets taken out by Unhappy. Pack comes in on Michelle, so they might be able to take these takes out quickly here. DM needs to get a little bit more on this Widowmaker, misses the shot here, and while that happens, Crystal able to force back LFZ here. Maybe as he gets the dive in, Crystal gets 2 with his dash in, and Unhappy getting 2 as well.
Crystal is playing out of his mind, and he absolutely needs to continue to perform adequately for his team. Silver 3 coming back on the Winston is going to set up a full dive now for Crystal, who will Dragon Blade. Illusion 25% shy of a nano boost, and look at Lucky Future Zenith's ult bank. DM now giving up the Widowmaker, going over to the Sombra, trying to get to the backline that much quicker. They're probably going to be waiting for this Valkyrie as Erster falls. That is huge. He was so close to the blade.
And the blade still on the other side here for Crystal. We'll see when he decides to use it. Milanron already up to a EMP as well. So very good position here for the side of T1W. Crystal hanging around, gets hacked here, so he's going to have to wait till that hack is over. Milanron coming in now, uses the EMP, and he's going to quickly take down Lucid. Lucid down at the start here. Marvel has to run away as LFZ, they don't know what to do right now as they're just getting stomped by the side of T1W, and Crystal, insult to injury, takes out IDK.
When have you ever been able to say that, Labasco, that LFZ find themselves in a back to the drawing board scenario and they don't know what to do against this composition? They only cycle through Mola Run's EMP for T1W, so now they're going to have a Nano Boost to go along with Crystal's Dragon Blade. They should have a Transcendence to combat it against Ursa's Dragon Blade at this point, and Unhappy can just grab everybody in a proverbial group hug with the Graviton Surge. T1W looks amazing on this defense.
The first time that I've said that is right now. Erster getting Milanron at the start here. Crystal not really getting much with this blade. Can't get it either here because of the Transcendence. Crystal super low. Not able to get him, though, was Erster. At least does force him away. They're starting to get the picks that they need to start this push finally onto the point. So it seems like they found something that's finally going to work for them. Just trying to chase out these last few. DM does get taken out. Maybe a chance here for a retake if they can, but T1W in a bad spot.
Yeah, IDK is going to get the resurrection onto DM, who died in the apartment buildings. Mulleron's just going to try to stall it as much time as possible, but Unhappy recontests with the Graviton Surge.
He does manage to get one in there. Crystal following up with another. Switch to the Soldier here as well. Marvel, they'll able to get two as the Primal Rage does come out here from the side of T1W, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to hold on. But as I say that, Crystal gets two. Crystal trying to get it back for the side of T1W.
Crystal is absolutely a man on a mission here, ready to do anything and anything for T1W to go ahead and get this win. 8% shy to the Tactical Visor will fall to Lucid, but an EMP coming to cycle through from Molarun yet again. Waya is going to kill off Marvel.
38 seconds left here for the side of LFZ. They might get bulldozed here on King's Row. ADK is able to get the res onto Marvel, who is taken out there early. Self-destruct for Michelle here. The dive coming in. They're able to get one by the help of Erster. That Primal Rage, and they get two. Michelle with the bomb, and then Erster with the dash into another. Primal getting it. So finally take this, but it was almost in the 11th hour that it happens for them. Panda.
And there's no way that they can ever get more time in the bank versus T1W, let alone they're going to have a struggle on capturing all 3 points here. Molarun swapping over to the Brigette. There's going to be a Nano Boost back over on the side for Illusion to get to Crystal, who has a Tactical Visor. DM will have a Tactical Visor of his own, but they had to throw everything, including the kitchen sink, out of the window there just to capture the point. Lucky Future Zenith on their back foot. They don't look too comfortable, Labasco, but they will have a Valkyrie to contest this payload with.
There's no doubt that if they do manage to complete this map, they will have a smaller time bank than the side of T1W Esports, but they have to make this a good push here. Erster coming in with the blade, dives onto the back and slaps again!
My God!
Crystal able to get two as he has the Nano Visor here. His team pushing forward, chasing after the stragglers that are left.
That is absolutely insanity. Crystal pulling out the Tactical Visor, Nano Boost at that. If you remember, the Junkertown special there, or the Jamerson Junker special, will be the Nano Boost on top of the Soldier 76. So much damage went absolutely into the faces of Lucky Future Zenith, not to mention the Sleep Dart yet again. It's going to find Urser, who flops over to the Brigette this time around, rather than the end. So that's going to be a Shield Bash and pressure to try to punish Silver 3 and Unhappy as they look in for the dive. Both tank ultimates being up for T1W at that, and another Transcendence.
Illusion has been insane on this Ana. There's no doubt about that, but Marvel starting off on Waya. Now they use the Visor here, looking for something as DM. He hasn't been able to find anything. He finally gets one with the help of Marvel, so Illusion out of this fight early. Silver using the Primal Rage here to stay into this one, but it's going all well for LFZ here, so they should be able to continue this push here as backing up is the rest of T1W.
It's a good call. Molarun just got the rally ultimate as well, so when they are grouped up as 6, a recontest can come through with Unhappy self-destruct. Lucky Future Zenith continuously using any ultimates they can just to gain headway on the streets phase, and it's going to be Lucid who's holding onto the Transcendence in his pocket to save against Crystal's next Tactical Visor.
Crystal, Visor up here maybe. They do have the Nano almost available for it now. He's going to go up top here. The self-destruct able to get Lucid at the start, so they're already in a good position. They might not need to commit anything extra to this fight. IDK does get the res back on, so now they'll have to pop the Nano Visor. Looking for targets here, almost gets one down. Crystal very low himself, has to go back by his team. There is the Transcendence used on the other side too by Lucid. Erster, though, able to get Molanran as they're trying to get this through. 7 seconds left here before overtime starts again. Michelle and another one here. LFC doing the work to at least try and force this to go all the way.
Almost back into overtime again. 1 minute and 25 seconds left to capture point C for Lucky Future Zenith, and they want to do it with time. Otherwise, it's a last attack scenario set up for T1W. On the other hand, Crystal will flop over to the Widowmaker to try to outburst and out sightline the enemies of Lucky Future Zenith, as we get a nice little replay here of the tactical visor from Crystal that was used previously, just finding everything and anything that Lucky Future Zenith wanted to throw at them as we get back into the map here. Labasco, Crystal just looking for these shots, is not having an easy time doing so, but Mulleron's finding a lot of charge on that Somber early.
Gets the Diva onto him as well. 50 seconds left here. If they can force overtime, they at least have a chance to win this map. Unhappy. Getting Michelle out of mech is a good start. Silver using the Primal Rage. Got Erster before he used it. And now on to his counterpart and takes out Marvel. So T1W into a great spot. 33 seconds left. They probably can't even get this cart there before it hits overtime. So T1W in prime position to even this up.
And Lucky Future Zenith will have a certain amount of ultimates, plus Erster switching over to the Widowmaker now, with DM having the tactical visor is going to be set up underneath the Valkyrie. The Transcendence for Lucid needs to be saved and used promptly against the EMP that's about to come through.
Molanran uses it here. Wyan Crystal able to
Transcendence.
get 2 at the start here, and a great trans preemptively to get them in this one. Crystal has somebody on him, but his team doing everything they need in behind. Nobody's able to get to the card, just one, as now they're just trying to run back here, but they're running right into players. IDK able to take out one. T1W able to get another one down. DM on this soldier starting to do work. They might have a chance to at least get this into overtime.
And absolutely a little bit more time. Last team fight scenario, if anything at all. Mulleron coming back here on the Brigette, but Michelle holding on to the self-destruct can claim this point. It's the win condition set for Lucky Future Zenith.
Have to get Molanran. He gets one here. Erster, though, gets unhappy out of the mech. Erster able to get silver here. IDK get the res, too, as well as Marvel able to get Molanran. So here's the chance that's needed. Erster still dealing damage. Oh, they get off the cart! It's a win for T1W, and they even it up.
The pressure of the stage getting to Lucky Future Zenith a little bit too much, and T1W to even up the map score here for the semifinals. That is huge. We were talking about the mental games that Lucky Future Zenith like to play against their adversaries, but T1W is going to go ahead and flip that on the other end of Lucky Future Zenith. And now going into the half Labasco, it's going to be Lucky Future Zenith, and I can't believe I'm saying this, I'm going to have to say it again, that Lucky Future Zenith is back to the drawing board just to try to stop T1W in the next set of maps.
There's no doubt that this has been an intense couple of games that we've already had here. We have maybe 3 more. We'll see how this one ends up going. Kick Tripod, Kenobi, Scribe. You guys got a lot to talk about because this was a great one. Take it away, guys.
It's not going to be a sweep. It's not going to be a sweep, boys. We've got a game. LFZ losing only their 2nd map of Overwatch Contenders Season 2. This is a big deal, Scribe.
I know. I might be right for once.
Okay, we're gonna break the curse finally from Scribe.
Chat, it has gotten so bad at this point, Scribe, that chat is literally asking what you picked so that they know who will
Give him
win.
a refresher, Scribe. Give him a refresher.
I
Who'd
said
you pick?
T1W. Let's go. Boy. This is easy. Like this is what the season's been building up to. I'm only gonna be right once, but it's gonna be the big upset.
Fair enough. Yeah, eventually you're going to get that one. Well, let's talk a little bit about this matchup. The first thing I want to hear about Kenobi is kind of an interesting strategy we saw from T1W on Oasis, and that's that 4 DPS, 2 support, no tank, quick play strategy. Not quick play. Settle down.
Mr. Heroes. Mr.
It's not-
Heroes.
yeah, right. But what's going on there? And I mean, it actually worked out pretty well for them until the very end.
Yeah, it's something that they've played before, I believe, against Future. Scribe, I think, mentioned that to me while we were talking about this during the game. It's a very interesting composition, and it was going up against another of what LFZ was bringing out was this London Spitfire comp where they run, the Reaper, the Hammond, Lucio, Brigitte, and just run at you. But when you're running into 4 DPS, that's probably the worst case scenario there, because the goal of the 4 DPS comp is just to completely just annihilate the enemy team with damage, right? It sounds pretty like standard, but that's basically the point of the composition. Is even if you have a diva, you're not going to be able to dematrix everything. That thing is on a limited cooldown, so you don't know who you're dematrixing. Are you helping your healers, your own DPS? We're just getting blown up by the Genji, the Pharah, the Soldier, the Doomfist. There's just so many variables going into how many DPS they have on the other side of the team, and it was just one great switch by Erster at the end to completely win that map, as he switched over to the Pharah after T1W had switched off of one of the Pharah counters, and then just completely took the fight over in that last point. Almost got 2 barrages in that last 30-second fight, so it did work. And LFZ has, like Panda said in the cast, being put against a wall here right now. It's someplace that they're not too familiar with, except for losing on Hybrid to T1W, which, that's their kryptonite, I would say, Hybrid maps.
Let's talk about Lucky Future Zenith's first half, and let's talk about Oasis first. What kind of strategy, Scribe, we're seeing from LFZ there? It looked like T1W was trying pretty hard to counter LFZ's kind of bread and butter.
Yeah, it's tough to really fight LFZ on Oasis because they're so good at controlling the map. I mean, I would say that many teams should put a higher emphasis on these first fight scenarios, especially against LFZ, because they're really good at punishing you. And by punishing, I don't even necessarily mean like punishing mistakes, but in terms of pressuring you when you come back into spawn. We see a very aggressive style of Pharah from Erster, almost a very predator-like Pharah, which goes specifically looking for kills, and that opens up DM for playing more defensive. And we saw exactly how strong his tracking is on McCree. The fact that he's able to get so much room because not everyone's focusing on him is extremely important. But I think the big thing here is just their ability to stay calm and execute properly. As we saw on City Center, they're very good at finding rotations and trying to find it into these back hallways where they know they can jump people potentially. But I think it was a little bit of an execution mistake on the side of T1W, just because I think T1W is one of those teams that could have pressured a little more with their quad DPS. Quad DPS is really strong at defending chokeholds. I didn't think they did that enough, and I think that because they didn't put up enough pressure, it allowed LZ to get into more of a runway mode, and they were able to kind of like take off from there.
So we move on to Kings Row after that, and that was a nail biter all the way through a little bit. So what were you kind of seeing coming out from T1W, because they were pretty dominant, finished the map 3 minutes and 15 seconds. They held at the very end, just shy of the 3rd point to go into the next round, and chat exploded, of course. So what kind of was going on there? What was LFZ's strategy, and why weren't they able to execute?
It's tough to say. I think that LFZ's strategy generically, especially on these Kings Row map, is they want to regroup, they want to keep fighting, they want to basically be able to reform, regroup, re-engage. They want to be able to use their team fighting prowess really to the best of their abilities. The reason why they actually weren't able to execute as well was I actually think the Molan Ron debacle almost, or the dilemma, is that when Molan Ron plays something as control heavy as Brigitte or Sombra, you almost have to dedicate another player to counter him because he's so good at the area of control. He might not be able to get kills consistently, but he's forcing your tanks to play out of position. So we saw DM, who's a very skilled hit scan player, specialist, have to play almost like an off role almost. We saw him we saw him like on Soldier randomly, we saw him on Sombra, kind of like limiting what exactly he could do. And that's kind of like what Molan Ron does. He makes sure that your best player has to make sure they compete with him on the same level. But in doing that, he reduces your threats one by one. So I think that on top of just great team play from the side of T1W, they executed extremely well with EMP. They were really good about hiding their strategies and baiting in LZ into these engagements that LZ is normally very comfortable in taking. So I think it's a lot of counterplay that was going into this.
And speaking of threats, the biggest threat for T1W that last game was I mean, it has to be said that it was Crystal. Just I can't really name one of the DPS besides like he played like Genji. He just played everything, and everything he had played, he looked incredibly comfortable on and was popping off. And that's, I harken back to when they played on Iconwall, LFZ and T1 last time. It was a lot of Crystal using that space that he was getting from Silver 3 diving in so deep and using that to bring out his carry potential. And he just looked like he was a man on a mission during that entire set on Kings Row. He just played whatever he wanted, pretty much unmitigated in the backline, just doing so much damage. And what I really like to see from T1W is they were making Silver 3 dive in very deep, but the entirety of T1W would go with him besides Crystal, and Crystal would stay in the back and use the space that he was getting to, as I said, pump out a lot of the damage. So I really like what I saw coming out from T1W, understanding that Crystal is our carry potential player, and if we enable him to the best we can, we have a chance to beat LFZ, and they did on Kings Row.
Mentioning that also.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. No, you're good.
But Silver 3 actually is like, I want to emphasize that even more, because we did talk about kind of the difficulty of balancing playing against LFZ. LFZ is one of those teams that if you over aggress too much, they'll make sure to punish your overstep. But if you give them too much room, they can execute really well. And Silver 3 was actually contesting a lot of the big spots that LFZ would normally take, right? Like, even though we saw him like very early on, right, leap onto the high ground onto point 3, even though he was leaping into enemy team, what he was doing was making sure they could not set up there. There is a weird case of LFC almost overemphasizing high ground control, and I wonder if T1W has also taken note of that tendency, and they're willing to contest it. And in contesting it, it makes sure that LFC all of a sudden has to start back on the same level. They no longer have that defender's advantage. I think that's one of the big reasons why Silver 3 has been so impactful.
So as we go into the second half here, T1W has a lot of momentum, Kenobi. How do they keep it going? How do they keep LFZ on their heels? And hopefully, just because I hate seeing undefeated teams in tournaments, end LFZ's season.
The way they're going to need to do it is they're going to need to keep Crystal in check a lot more, and make sure that they're punishing Silver 3 when he's diving in that deep, because if you're able to punish Silver 3 for going in that deep, the rest of the team will fall behind him. You'll have a lot of resources put into him, and then they will be resources that you have for the next fight. So I'd really like to see them do that. The other thing is that when they last played, it was very much a case of LFZ downloaded T1W after they lost that first round. They came out and they just punched him in the mouth, won both their last games pretty convincingly. So I want to see T1W capitalize on this and keep it moving, because you don't want to be in another position, right, where you have all this momentum and LFZ just blocks you. It's a position LFZ haven't been in a lot of, but I'm interested to see how it's going to affect them in the late game. That was it was a pretty convincing win, 3 minutes and 15 seconds on Kings Row, and you stopped them getting to third point even for LFZ. That's a pretty high mountain to climb for LFZ there. So I really want to see T1W continue to keep their foot on the gas.
Fair enough. Well, there you have it. We are tied 1-1 in the first half between Lucky Future Zenith and T1W Esports. We're going to take a brief break, get set up for map number 3. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
The Primal Rage takes out Kelly. And we're back here on Overwatch Contenders China semifinal. Lucky Future Zenith 1, T1W Esports 1. As we going into map number 3, Temple of Anubis. Labasco here alongside of me. Panda, it's been crazy up until this point already. We're on to our next map, Temple of Anubis. Expectations from both of these teams, especially LFZ, who's been this unbeatable Titan, everyone has said, but they're looking very mortal right now.
A hybrid seems to be their Achilles heel, if you will. And as we're walking into Anubis, we're now understanding that both of these teams haven't picked it not a single time, Labasco, with both of them sitting up at 100% win rate for this map. It's kind of the same scenario that we just had with Kings Row, chilling up on about 83%. But when both these teams haven't lost on Anubis, this is really going to be where the pressure is all on, especially coming off of that very unfortunate Charlie Niner, as we'll call it there, on Kings Row for Lucky Future Zenith. The momentum has to be shifting, and the headspace for T1W has to be so huge, in fact, that they are going to be feeling good going into this next map.
One thing to still consider, though, for LFZ, this is a team who's this isn't something that they've not seen before. They've seen this before in previous Contenders and Contender Season 1. So this is a team that has been under pressure and has responded from it before. So to count them out right now is not the smart thing to do. But T1W, they have to be happy with the situation they're in right now. The momentum is definitely on their side. So going into this map of Temple of Anubis, as far as what we're seeing from the metal, this is another map where we're going to see more Sombra.
And more Sombra can be played out. We know Assault is her playground as well. When you can hack that health pack on point B underneath, it's very devastating for the defending team to get around that if they don't get it to it first. But you just saw as well, those players just sitting there, just a cold, icy looks. The seriousness from T1W has now transferred over to Lucky Future Zenith, who walked onto the stage, pure smiles, now understand that they have a match on their hands. And when it's 1-to-1 like this, Labasco, it's going to be such a slobber knocker again coming into Anubis. I'm so excited.
And Caster's Curse never seems to fail either, Panda, because neither team's using a Sombra here. We're seeing Genjis, though, on either side, and DM going back to the Widowmaker. He's been very streaky on this hero so far. We need to see him put a little more pressure, don't we?
Yeah, DM's been having a hard time all day long, but coming back out here on a tried and true pick of the Widowmaker, especially on Anubis where it is favorable, can be a comfortable pick as they come out with a core dive concept. They're going to be setting up Urser to look for a Dragon Blade, perhaps going all the way around on the flank. But you can see T1W came out here with the Orisa, able setting up on that high ground. No easy shots for DM to come out anytime soon. And the aerial denial from Junkrat's Molarun is going to be setting up that room with a certain amount of shrapnel.
And Marvel diving on top here right now. Very close to being taken out. Is Mercy able to get to him, though, and keep him up? Michelle there as well to keep him alive. So nobody dies in the dive. They're in a position here to maybe do something. DM all alone, trying to deal damage out onto the side, though, but still shielded pretty well as everybody on the other side. So Molanron still able to do this. Unhappy and Crystal now getting their damage in and getting those wipes out here, getting the tanks down. A very good start from T1W. IDK, though, able to get the res, and Lucid gets Crystal. Marvel now getting Illusion after getting brought back into this fight. Erster going to use the Dragon Blade here, trying to take out the Oasis, just sitting on up top, and LFZ getting themselves into a good position, and DM dealing some damage out. Hasn't found a limb here by himself, but he was able to get the Diva mech out, and they will get this point here, and it's a pretty good time onto the board for LFZ.
A certain amount of time had gone by as well, Labasco, so Lucky Future Zenith having to use the Dragon Blade in that final moments, and the infrared sight will be coming offline here as it just does. They're going to be trying to set up a snowball here around Marvel's Primal Rage and IDK's Valkyrie. They also have a Transcendence to deal with the Bamol runs coming in with the tire.
And Mercy being taken down here is a huge disadvantage for the side of T1W. Now almost getting the other with the Primal. DM, though, finishes it off here for Crystal as they're getting a quick build up here, already up to 1 tick. They've got 4 on, so those staggers are going to have to take a little bit more time. Because of that, they quickly take out Silver, who jumps back in. Self-destruct on the point. Not going to do anything. Illusion taken out quickly here. Coming back in is the Genji. Crystal gets taken out. He can't even get the blade out here. Sombra back on to stall here for Molanra and has to go back in. They've got 2 ticks already as they're getting these eliminations needed here. Molanra still not able to do much here as Marvel comes diving back in. They are almost there as they have 5 minutes, 30 seconds left here. Just have to get a few more. Crystal getting taken out. Doesn't get anything with the blade. Erster's blade doing better. Just have 1 player left on the point, and Unhappy gets taken out here. And now the Sombra able to get back, and they get it here. Good time onto the bank. LFC with a good answer here after half.
It was a spiral of disaster the moment that DM showed up on the Widowmaker and sniped away the ripped tire from Molarun, and then they were able to, as a team for Lucky Futures, then shut down Illusion, who came out on the Mercy this time. Was 1% shy of the Valkyrie ultimate, could have been the win condition for the defending team, but when you lose all of that burst healing out of the way, not only to help out Waya, who was on the Ana this time round, is going to be a 5-minute and 20-second time bank set up for Lucky Future Zenith as they come out here for their defense.
And you can see on their defensive side, they know what they want to do. They're going to go with Marvel on the Orisa. Michelle's going to be on the Mei just to get the boost up. And then it's Lucid and IDK. They're going with Anna and Brigitte. Do you like this from LFZ?
From LFC in particular, I'm going to enjoy the way that Michelle is either going to be staying out here on the Mei, as we know that is a very flexible player here for Lucky Future Zenith and likes to play a multitude of different DPS, but probably just going to be using the wall to get up onto the peak for Marvel's Orisa. DM, however, using the speed boost just to get back and forth to help out Michelle, will probably come back on the Widowmaker to help out the defense that much further. What's very interesting to me, however, is Lucky Future Zenith is choosing to go with this Brigitte and Ana support line. It's a lot of healing if Inspire stays proc, and if you're able to land a Biotic Grenade onto your friendlies of Michelle and Marvel, they will stay healed for days.
The one good thing is as it looks right now, we don't see T1W with an Ana of their own, so you don't have that anti-nade that could come out from the other side, because Illusion is going to go to Lucio here. So Lucio, Zen, they're just going to go straight up full dive.
And full dive, and Illusions will probably end up speed boosting out of spawn. Perhaps a Mercy pick to come out. Not going to, actually. So a lot of defensive ultimate capabilities coming out for T1W, but no burst healing potential as well. So they need to get in here, and they need to find the dive very promptly for Crystal and Molarun to clean them up timely and not have to need all of the burst healing in the world, which can be hard to do against an anti-dive composition of Lucky Future Zenith.
Erster with the good start there gets Crystal too, so already having to go and back up and wait is T1W. So this is a great start here. You're going to take off maybe 20 seconds if you're LFZ.
Yeah, Lucky Future Zenith going ahead and just stuff, especially with Ursa already hanging around on the flank. Knew as a Genji player himself where it was going to be coming from. Molarun under pressure. We're going to have to use the recall, just staying in the small room, just trying to take any high ground away from Lucky Future Zenith. No ultimates coming around anytime soon, but DM is trying to find these picks.
Dive, though, coming on top right now. Crystal trying to get out. Erster, though, on the counter dive, able to get Waya. Erster able to get another with his dash and the right click, and DM able to get on Happy out of mech. So the defense holding strong here at the start for the side of Lucky Future Zenith.
And with this core dive of Silver 3's Winston and Unhappy's Diva, T1W really need to be careful where they dive to. We know that all of Lucky Future Zenith is going to be hanging around that shield, but they more or less want to almost bait a counter dive coming in from Urser, protect Waya and Illusion, who are on these supports, not necessarily able to support each other, but a Winston of Silver 3 can definitely displace Urser, who's 30% shy of a Dragon Blade.
A lot of ultimates going to be coming up here very soon for Lucky Future Zenith, and getting taken out here at the start is Molanron. So already a disastrous start for the side of T1W. They're gonna have to go back here and wait for their Tracer to get back in here, and things are just not going their way.
And this is just the well-oiled machine of Lucky Future Zenith that we've known and seen through the group stage and last week of the group, or quarterfinals rather, of the ability to protect Lucid on the Ana with the Brigitte. Any sort of nuttiness coming in from a dive will get shield bash and stun lock and definitely dealt with.
And the wall hacks here. DM able to get Crystal, who is trying to dive in. And now Erster looking for another target of his own. His team still controlling the point here. They've managed to get at least one tick, but it's still not going to be enough. They're not going to get that second tick. So you at least get one, but you're not getting that second one.
Not able to find the space need be. The pulse bomb came through from Molarun, one ultimate that had been used and spent, going to flop over to a Brigitte now. Crystal has finally had a Dragon Blade accrued, as well as Ursa, who's been holding his in the pocket. Michelle's self-destruct, along with Marvel's Supercharger, is going to be hard again for T1W to find a dive into.
And Crystal has to be careful. Almost got his head taken off by DM. At least got taken low. A lot of ultimates on the side of LFZ. The dive coming in where the Brigitte is quickly pushing off. Now Crystal trying to get onto the other side. Has to pull back away. As Silver, though, able to get the booster down. But Erster won already with the Dragon Blade and got another. Self-destruct gets one for Unhappy. Silver able to get one with the Primal here. But Molanron now able to get another. So maybe this is here where the take finally comes in for the side of T1W. As IDK, though, able to get Molanron out here. Silver trying to get the Ana out of this fight. Gets slapped. And out Brigitte coming back in here. But they both are probably going to get taken down here. T1W finally going to get the clip here. But it was with 26 seconds left that they're finally going to get this, and still getting stalled out a little bit more.
Now Ursa will finally fall, and the point will go over to T1W, however, but like you had mentioned, they had to use a lot of ultimates to do so, but it was really the fluid tank play that came out from Silver 3 and Unhappy that really found the opening for T1W. They've not only shut down the Dragon Blade, but they also found DM, who ended up coming out on the Widowmaker, is now playing the Zenyatta, a hero that I haven't seen actually come out from DM, but I'm very excited to see how they put it in to this composition of Lucky Future Zenith.
Crystal's Dragon Blade getting popped here quickly onto Brigitte. Misses with one swipe, does get him eventually. Now going for the end of the sleep dart was missed here. He does get taken out by DM though afterwards, who's now on Zenyatta here. Marvel dealing out damage with the Tesla cannon onto the point. Has to try and jump away as Molanran on the point here. Silver able to get Urster at the start. Unhappy another one. So T1W looking like they might have their chance here to get this point if they can continue to stagger out these kills. Silver still using the Tesla cannon, has the Primal Rage available, punches to get another one here. Dragon Blade used by Urster, but it doesn't look like he's going to be able to get one. Does manage to get Crystal at the very least, but still not in a good position is the side of LFC. Unhappy, able to get IDK out, but they're not getting this final tick just yet. The stagger's still coming out, killing off time for LFC. Looks like they're close to getting it finally, not quite there. As another one gets back onto the point. Marvel, Primal Rage here to stall as long as possible, pushing players off the point, trying to allow his team to get back in here, and he gets Molanran after he finishes with it. Crystal back on the Tracer here, dealing damage. How gets taken out here quickly. Unhappy with the self-destruct, able to get one, but it looks like LFZ will stabilize. So much time taken off here.
They were just shy, 5 minutes, or 5.2% shy of getting that second control point there, Labasco. And 2 minutes, 25 seconds is going to be T1W trying to find out what they have in the ult bank. Is going to be a Transcendence to walk back onto this point. Illusion off of the Mercy now over to the Ana has really been making a strong showcasing on that hero today, just to try to out-heal and to mitigate the healing against Lucky Future Zenith. But Urster will be looking for the Dragon Blade. Illusion needs to find that Sleep Dart on him once more and shut it down.
They need a quick, clean wipe here. T1W Urster going to get hit with an Anubis, comes in with the blade. Hasn't found anything. Transcendent stopping most of that. Also used the sound, also kept players up as well after that. Crystal coming back in here, able to come back away. Self-destruct by Michelle, able to get the Ana out here at the very start. Silver still dealing damage in, uses the Primal Rage here to try and push some players off. Able to get Molanran here, or IDK was Molanran, as Crystal now using the blade here. Able to get one. Sleep misses as now being pushed away is Lucid. Have to get one more off that point as they're finally getting these last few limbs here, as they should be able to get, if they can just get this Genji off. Coming back is the Brigitte, and IDK, they'll have another player coming in on the other side, quickly trying to take them out in this Tracer. They're staggering so well and at least keeping this going. 1:07 left on the clock. The Maid pick out here as Silver able to get DM. They're still just not able to get this.
Yeah, Lucid coming back here on the Mei will fall. Molanran able to sunlock that Mei into an existence, and Unhappy has another self-destruct, but the Dragon Blade's coming through from Urster. Got shut down.
Quickly shut down here. Crystal dashing his way through. 46 seconds left. They have to get this before overtime comes in, and through Tracer back onto the point here, as they are just stalling out so well. Just IDK left. If they get this off, they might be able to hand and pick. Quickly booped away, but somebody else comes in on the other side in the May as the Dragon Blade out here trying to get this Hammond off of the point. Couple more players left as they just need to get this out. As they finally should be able to. It's just insane how long this fight is lasting here.
Yeah, the self-destruct is still there for Unhappy, so if need be, he can still clear off the point. But look at the stall coming through, and now T1W will finally capture point B and able to set themselves up with a winning condition to get Anubis away from Lucky Future Zenith. But it's that time bank, Labasco, that is ever so intimidating. 6 minutes and 10 seconds versus the 1. Lucky Future Zenith know what they have to do. They know the compositions they need to play, but as they're setting up on the defense, the attacking team now of T1W need to come out with what worked for them so strongly, and maybe they'll learn from their mistakes. The Zenyatta and Lucio wasn't the strongest pick coming out from either of them, but when you add it into a reverse GOATS concept, if you will, the 3-3 coming through, or a 1-2-3 rather, with Crystal on the Genji, can be very, very helpful for these supports to stay alive.
Their picks here that they decide to go with are Molanran on the Brigitte and Crystal on the Genji. Do you like these picks?
For Molanran especially, on the Brigitte, it can be very, very good, and a smart pick at that. They need a way to confidently deal with Ursa, who's been ever so living in the backline of T1W, and the Shield Bash, Sun, and Flail Whip combo is a good way of doing that, all by way of the Discord Orb of Waya. Silver 3 needs to be a little bit more proactive along with his Winston and the leaps that he has been offering to be in all the places that he needs to. But I do enjoy seeing Crystal on the Genji. He has been making a strong showcasing of that all match long.
So already under a minute on the clock here for the side of T1W, but they're not out of it yet. They see where the defense is set up here. Erster looking for that cheeky flank just like he had last time, looking for somebody just dealing damage out. They find him now, quickly bloop him away. So Erster going back up into this area though to try and just deal more damage out. He's already got 30% on his blade and he hasn't been taken care of, and he's able to stay alive with his positioning there as healers are still able to get to him. So having to make a decision here is T1W. They're going to get onto the point now, forcing down the Orisa, not a bad decision. So DM unprotected up top, Unhappy getting IDK at the start of this fight as well. Erster with the dive in though, and Lucid able to get another one here. So Crystal now with Lucid, so we're even here. Illusion able to get one. DM though gets Unhappy out of mech, but it looks like it might not be enough. T1W should be able to get the point here.
Yeah, T1W, they seemed very desynced and split apart on point A for Anubis, but the squad comp found themselves back with one another around Silver 3 and the Winston. So they're going to have 30 seconds now, down to 20 as they're going to take proper swaps. Unhappy is going to go ahead and go back over onto the D.Va with Waya onto the Ana for the healing as well. Can get a nano boost very quickly here on point B, Labasco, if it's anything like the last fight that we just witnessed.
Lucid kind of hiding right now behind those boxes right near where that door is. That main look throws out the nade there. I don't know if he got anybody, but it doesn't matter. Crystal going with the blade, manages to find two, looking for another one here now, gets onto the D.Va, not quite able to get him. They're already halfway here, have to get the Ana off the point. Lucid quickly taken down here, dash in though by Erster, he's able to get two, looking for another, he gets a third as the nano boost helps him here. Overtime meter ticking down, no one able to get back. LFC keeps the door open here as T1W not able to get anything on that second point.
Having 40-something odd percent is still something to walk away with here, Labasco, so the win condition can still be set that if they get stomped and rolled off of point A, they can come back to point B with a smile on their face, because it's going to be a slight above the first tick for the side of Lucky Future Zenith to capture. And what I'm most excited about is how T1W Esports adapts to the concept that was faced against them on the previous defense around Marvel and Michelle. DM was a strong showcasing on the Widowmaker, but the story of Lucky Future Zenith is Erster. Those Dragon Blades have been absolutely amazing all map long. Needs to continue to show up here if Lucky Future Zenith wants to go back up in this series.
And DM has dealt damage out that's been needed from the side of LFZ as well. He hasn't been the star, but he's been a good support to the side of Erster. And that's really all you need from him right now is the one thing too, Panda. For the side of T1W, 6 minutes. What is the thought here for them?
6 minutes and 10 seconds. I hope that they don't play with their food here, because they know that T1W isn't the team to necessarily do so with. But when they're coming out here on a core dive, you can see the healers coming out on the Mercies and Yadas, a strong showcasing. They're looking not only for the pick potential, but the snowball effect that they also had on their first attack. It's going to be very difficult to deal with as both supports are on main healers. Ana and Mercy work really well together in that fashion, but they need to keep Molaron up to absolutely shut down these chokes for Lucky Future Zenith to walk through.
DM kind of hiding right now, not trying to give away his position just yet. He has to be careful because of Crystal. Crystal over on the opposite side from where the Orisa is, trying to deal the damage off. Almost got hit by the reflect there on his shot onto the Genji. Luckily, he's able to stay alive, has to position himself so he can try and get some headshots in on some of these tanks. The dive coming in here onto the top, onto the side where Crystal is, where some of his players are. He's able to get Lucid here before Lucid can deal any damage to him. So good start here for the side of the defense as they do get one of the supports out of this fight. Unhappy here, still on top with his Orisa, now going back over onto the side where the Junkrat is. So you kind of have this split of this comp here, and it worked at least on this first offensive push that LFC tried.
And IDK was out of position to get the resurrection on Lucid, so a minute has already gone out of the way for Lucky Future Zenith's attack, and Ursa already in the face, just trying to farm Silver 3's Orisa, but DM finding and answering against Illusion. Mercy up and out of the way for T1W.
And that's the W keeping pressed by the rest of his team because of it as well. Unhappy does manage to get Marvel, but it might be not enough here as it looks like they're going to be able to take this first point at the very least. Just have to deal with the last couple players that are up on the higher ground. They haven't dropped down yet, and it's probably not not going to matter, as going down here in just a second will be the Orisa, as now looking to the other side, just trying to take out the Junkrat, who's just stalling for as long as possible. So they do manage to get about a minute and a half off the clock. 5 minutes left here.
Yeah, and now T1W, they force Lucky Future Zenith once more to wait to use a certain amount of time before they can actually capture on point A. Is going to be good because they did have to use an ultimate to get on there. Yes, it was the infrared sight, but that's information they won't necessarily have coming into point B. Urser with the Dragon Blade, however, to be pocketed inside this Valkyrie ultimate of IDK could be devastating for T1W Esports to deal with. But Waya swapping over to Brigitte is going to go ahead and look for that shield bash just to shut it down himself.
42.5%, all that's needed. Urster comes in, he gets hit though by the tire, but DM able to get one, Michelle able to get another, but Crystal able to get DM. Marvell onto the point with that Primal Rage. He's able to push the Junkrat off. Diving in was Crystal, he gets taken out. They've got a couple of the picks they need here, but still a chance here for T1W to try and stabilize. Michelle trying to help his team get this one and get themselves to match point. Urster in on this fight as they get one. Style starting to build up, self-destruct as they're getting close to getting a third of this. Molanran though with the hack in, Unhappy able to get Urster, so there's still a chance for the defense here. Crystal's build up to a blade as well, and Unhappy able to get another. Unhappy the hero right now.
Yeah, Unhappy spreading the Unhappy wish over to Lucky Future Zenith, and Molanran coming out on that Sombra. First showcasing all map on this hero specifically. Gonna have the hack for the bottom health pack as well, so that's a lot of healing for the attacking team to try to deal with. And especially going in here and zipping in and out just to try to find any support, if any. Specifically Lucid, who is building this Transcendence very quickly, needs to be dealt with so Crystal can get a big blade, and he finds him.
Oh, that's a good start for the side of T1W as Molanran is able to get Lucid here. Unhappy going in here. A couple of his players are close to being taken down, but it's okay because they're forcing back LFC. LFC knows they have still 3 minutes to try and get 42%, so they're not being too overly aggressive. They've got 3 ults.
The more time that they use to build up their ult economy, however, Labasco, is more time that T1W can do it on their side as well. They're going to have the rally available, but Molanran is building this EMP so quickly that they're going to be able to shut down Lucid if he doesn't have the reactions of a god and try to mitigate that. Pulse Bomb just got eaten.
Yep, nothing there with that. Crystal using the Reflect. See when he decides to use it. You have the Transcendence used, so that might be the cue for him to come in with the blade, and he gets one onto the back line now. Not able to get another one, but he at least forces back some of the players for LFZ as the rest of his team's able to push forward. They're forced back again, 226, and they used a lot of ults, but Urster's still with that Dragon Blade.
Lucky Future Zenith is put against the ropes here. They use not only the Valkyrie, the Transcendence, but they also committed the Primal Rage as well. And now DM swapping over to the McCree. Swaps coming across the board. They understand that they cannot play any longer. They need to get on this point and sustain themselves. Ana Lucio is still a good duo pick to have, and Michelle to help out his tank buddy of Marvell with the Zarya is an even better factoid of that. Molanran holding onto the EMP, however, can shut down Michelle before he even gets to the point, halving his health.
Have to realize he has it is what LFC has to do. So they have to know that this is maybe going to be coming here very soon. He might have gotten spotted out, but he gets the EMP off. He gets pretty much everyone with the Crystal. Able to come in with that Rocket Punch. Gets another hack onto the Genji as well. So they're able to get at least one of the ults out here. But that was it. They only had to use one ultimate is the thing for T1W. A minute 30 left here for LFZ.
Yeah, and T1W, they understand where their steaks need to be placed on the grill. They know how delicious that they must taste. They're just trying to grill them to perfection. They have both tank ultimates and the sound barrier ready. Waya is building this rally very quickly, Labasco. And take a look at Lucky Future Zenith, who just swapped their entire team composition. Only halfway to the nearest ultimate is going to be an EMP from DM, but he's under so much pressure.
They have a chance, though, still, of course, with a minute left on the clock. This might be close to last fight time. IDK, though, with the start, gets Molanran, so that's a great opportunity here. Rocket Punch in, able to get one with the help of Illusion, though. So a good start here for the side of T1W as well. So we're even as DM coming in, not able to get anything. There's he gets taken out, Unhappy with another one here as they have the rally available here. Michelle gets the nano boost onto him, but that's not probably going to matter. LFC being forced back here, 34 seconds left to go, and they're going to get wiped.
And what a stagger kill there at the end for IDK and Michelle. So we're down to 28 seconds here. Labasco and with T1W working at this well-oiled machine. You're going to have the rally that they didn't even need to use and commit in the previous fight. Mola Run is about to have another EMP, along with Crystal, who has the Meteor Smash available. Lucky Future Zenith, they find themselves able to find both their tank ultimates, and DM's going to have an EMP as well, but it needs to be huge.
Have to pay attention to it. He does get a pretty good hack off. Marvell able to get a lantern.
Oh,
Did he
good
get
Earth Shatter.
Pretty good shatter here. And then the Graviton Surge in there, get one. Now using the Meteor Strike, though, not able to get anything. DM and Erster still doing what are needed here. Back onto the point. Transcendence doesn't do enough. LFC here, close to the brink, but they're going to bring themselves back to it as they clear off the point. And they should get this, and they will take this map, and they'll be up one. And on map point here, they have a chance. LFC so close to giving this one up. T1W Esports give it up at the end, though.
The Lucky Future Zenith really using the time bank full and effectively as well, building up the ultimates and absolutely blowing their load there on the final points there. Labasco, they absolutely needed that EMP to be huge. The Graviton Surge and the Earth Shatter on top of it was absolutely insanity. They needed it to work off of that late swap of a composition, and they just showed us how strong of a team they still are.
We might be at match point, but this one isn't over yet, Panda. That's the thing, though. T1W can still force a map 5 here on our final map. But before we get to that, we're going to take a quick timeout as we get ready for map number 4. We're back here on Contenders China, semifinal between Lucky Future Zenith and T1W Esports Club. It is currently a 2-1 lead for Lucky Future Zenith, narrowly taking Temple of Anubis. Labasco and Panda here with you as we're getting ready for this 4th map. T1W trying to force the map 5, keep their hopes alive that they can get themselves into this championship game. And Panda, looking at this, we're going to Watchpoint Gibraltar. Are you surprised by the pick here?
It's 100% pick rate over there for T1W Esports, but last time that these two teams faced off each other, it was week 4 of the group stage where T1W took Eichenwald. It went to a 4-3 in total score in favor of Lucky Future Zenith. Though T1W did lose, they have looked so strong in this current series. With Yard coming in as well, another good mention here for Lucky Future Zenith. Could be the wild card against T1W, but T1W, again, they've done their homework, man. They have looked so fantastic thus far, and coming into Gibraltar, I expect greater things.
Is the pick for Yarg because of the map they're at? Is that maybe why we're seeing him instead of Erster? Because Erster at times has looked like the better of the two DPS playing DM between him and DM.
Yeah, he's definitely been a lot more consistent over his counterpart of DM, so I'm questioning it just a wee bit, but their hero pool is quite similar indeed. The Pharah pick, however, has been Yarg's specialty. So coming over to Gibraltar, outside of the hangar phase of, or you could call it part B of Gibraltar, isn't necessarily Pharah's strong suit, but if Yarg is able to flex in between the Sombra, the Pharah pick as well, and even the Brigitte can help out DM go in between all of those, the multitude of hit scan heroes, Widowmaker, and even Sombra Tracer.
Well, Yarg right now is on the Brigitte, is what we're seeing so far from Lucky Future Zenith. And of course, have to put the stakes that are on the line here. Lucky Future Zenith with the map win here will move on and get a rematch of last season's Contenders China final between them and LGD Gaming. T1W with the win here forces a game 5 and keeps their hopes alive that they can dethrone the Titan that is Lucky Future Zenith. 10 seconds away from doors opening as we see the comps here finally starting to solidify on the side of T1W.
Yeah, Lucky Future Zenith setting up on their defense here will have an Ana and Zenyatta. Good defensive ultimate to keep around. If you can Biotic Grenade inside a Graviton Surge is very helpful, but T1W, they're coming out here on a core dive to set up Crystal, who is on the sole DPS pick of the Widowmaker, looking for those headshots. Need to be careful of their backline. Lucky Future Zenith has DM on the Sombra.
Silver dealing damage out from up top right now. He's forced back the rest of Lucky Future Zenith, so they will be able to get through this bottom part of this first push here at the very start. So it's getting into that all-important car wash that can be sometimes really difficult to get through. Crystal right now just dealing some damage out, going back towards the bottom now, as they are able to cleanly get through this car wash pretty much with no problem here, as they're right now in server room is the rest of the team. Unhappy with the start here, able to get Marvell out. So a good start here, as Unhappy, though, gets hacked is the only thing, but his team still moving this cart as they're getting close here. They have to get to this cart real fast for LFZ. They've got to make sure they get back on here, as they're just about to get it here. Finally do get back onto the car. Crystal, though, has those supports pinned down in the server room and still dealing damage out to players who do get on. Unhappy gets hacked here again, but Waya able to get Yarg here. Crystal able to get DM, so good start here for T1W.
Yeah, and T1W sitting pretty, finding all these nice picks, and the rally from Mola Run is going to accentuate on the dive coming in. Crystal, uncontested in the backline, just finds IDK's head and rips it right off the shoulder sockets of Ana. And now Lucid, who committed the Transcendence over there along with the Nano Boost from IDK, they're going to reset themselves on a Mercy and Zenyatta pick. DM just shy of the EMP, as well as Yarg on the rally, can be devastating for the defending team as they don't find any split spawns coming through. T1W just trying to clear off and keep the high ground uncontested for Crystal to continue to pop off. But look at DM, unstealthing on the payload, just trying to find Waya, does not.
Mercy was there to come and help out, so a good job by the side for Illusion for T1W. Michelle here getting booped back away, very close to being taken out, but gets back. In comes the EMP from DM, as now the team looks to try and get, but Unhappy gets one with the self-destructing Michelle, who is out of mech, but Marvell able to get two here with the jump on the rocket pack, and now is using his Primal Rage to get on to the last few that are left, so the defense looks like they're going to be able to stabilize here if they can get these last couple of picks. They're not able to at least get back and disengage with T1W.
Illusion using and flopping and switching over to the Mercy as well will find a nice partnership with Waya on the Zenyatta as well. Good mirror support line coming out here. Michelle and Marvel using both their tank ultimates, as well as T1W is very good considering that they have control of the hangar, stuffing all these small doorways for Crystal to find the headshots as the infrared sight has been popped. Oh, good shot.
Crystal with the opening shot onto IDK, so no res going to be coming in here. Transcendence has to be used here to try and stay in this fight with it being a 6-on-5. Silver here dealing damage out with the Tesla cannon. Unhappy here, micro missiles here, almost getting that mech out, and they finally do get it of Michelle, as now pushing forward is Unhappy as they're finding the picks here as they continue getting past that ship here. Only one left right now is Marvell, and he gets staggered out here, but he won't get that bad spawn, so he will be in a good spot here as they quickly get through here. 4 minutes and 30 seconds to attack this final point for T1W. They want to force a game 5.
Not using any heavy investment of ultimates whatsoever, but the whip shot to come through from Molarun will clear off DM, who's trying to find Waya on the payload again after the capture point has been progressed. Lucky Future Zenith is going to have their own rally to deal with, and IDK is just shy of a Valkyrie ultimate, so they could recontest the payload and accentuate on the dive coming through from Marvell and Michelle. Waya, however, has been uncontested in this backline with Crystal for T1W, just finding multiple headshots and body shots with those orbs of destruction.
And Silver able to get two with the Primal Rage. Good start here. Marvell with the Primal of his own, but it looks like he's not going to be able to do much. He might have gotten another boop off. Did Silver? He does. Unhappy getting DM, so they're getting free push here. They're going to be so close here. They're going to be able to get up to these doors. 3:43 left here. They're going to have a big time make if they can get these last few kills that are needed. Michelle, though, coming back in, self-destruct in the air, and he gets Crystal, so the Widowmaker pressure going to be gone here at the very least. But the res coming in from Illusion, as coming in and getting booped away was one of the players for the side of LFC. DM dealing damage out. Crystal, they're going to get him here, so he's in to a good position. Is Crystal on this low ground, still getting picks off, dealing damage out, having up his wall hacks as well. Well, Landran here on the cart, just trying to clear it off with his rocket flare, keeping everybody alive as they're able to get this, getting so close, just have to push this cart. Oh, this sleep here as coming back in is the Anna, but it might not matter. Silver gets onto the cart with the Primal, and a huge time bank onto the board for T1W Esports. They're not out of this yet.
The dive and protection for the resurrection onto Crystal was absolutely huge. They found IDK, not to mention what I was talking about in the previous in-between fight, was Waya is completely uncontested in this backline. They can't get to the Zenyatta because they're trying to deal with Crystal's Widowmaker. Marvell and Michelle are put into an overdrive mode as they're not only trying to keep their backline alive, but to also keep the DPS and the most damaging members of T1W mitigated properly, just trying to claim as much space as possible, unable to do so, as we're going to get a nice replay of Silver 3, who pops off this Primal Rage at the beginning of this last team fight, finds both supports, and blocks him into a corner.
And then he gets the boop off here too as well. He loses his life, but at that point, does it even matter?
I don't believe that it does, because it really set up the rest of the attacking team at that point to set up a snowball and chain effect. 3 minutes on the time clock there for T1W. That is a huge time, like you had mentioned, Labasco, for Watchpoint Gibraltar. It's not the easiest map to set up a snowball, especially having Yarg on the Brigitte popping out those rallies left, right, and center. But as Lucky Future Zenith is setting up around on their attack, a very interesting concept. But what we can talk about is the non-debated defense is going to be Silver 3 with the Hamster. It's going to have Unhappy with the D.Va to help out that dive. But the real story is the 2 DPS of Molaran and Crystal really working well in tangent with one another, not only to help and claim space, but Crystal always finding those squishy targets out of their most wanted position.
Illusion here on the Ana again as well. We've seen what Illusion can do on this Ana so far. Some great nades, but even better sleep darts. And the target he's going to have to look for is DM, because right now he's showing us Doomfist. He might switch here before they come out of the doors. We'll see what he decides to do. It looks like he's going to stay on this.
It's a good pick to come out as well. Lucid and Yarg, the only supports. IDK will go over to the Mercy very quickly. DM will end up punching his way back to the spawn door just to go back on to the Sombra, looking for key hacks and targets. We know that Sombra is a very good pick to take against a Wrecking Ball composition. Silver 3 needs to be careful and not hack, or not get hacked rather, because without those adaptive shields, he's just a slow moving tank and a lot of ult charge at that.
T1W did a good job of peeling, though, while DM was on the Sombra last time. We'll see if they can do that on defense as well. The cart kind of getting stalled out here a little bit. The team is a bit split up here for T1W, but Crystal able to get Yarg here at the start, who gets taken out. His shield couldn't block what was happening from behind him, so he goes down quickly here. DM almost gets headshot by Crystal as well, so the defense already off to a better start than what happened for LFZ on point 1.
Almost got the second hit as well. The body shot would have killed off DM, and that would have been devastating nevertheless. But DM giving up all the charge and going to flip away with Yarg. Yarg now picking up the Somber Mantle. DM on the Widowmaker to contest Crystal.
Has to be big here is DM on his Widowmaker if his team wants to win on this map and go and face LGD Gaming. Of course, they have to complete this to even have a chance of doing that is the one thing. Wall hacks out here from Crystal as they're going to get a good view of where everybody is for LFC. So they're going to kind of just wait this one out, it looks like, until it comes through, as it's just about to end here. DM getting healed up as well. Yarg looking for a target to hack here as he's on the low ground. As we now get to see the view, the Transcendence available here for Lucid. He's going to pop it here early on. Have the bombs used here. Able to take out a couple because he's in his Transcendence form. Illusion, though, and Milanran doing what are needed. Silver here as well with those mines on the cart, making it difficult as he's able to get Michelle, who was not able to. So not in a good spot here is LFC. 1:56 left on the clock.
All 3 supports of T1W are absolutely playing methodical right now. They are cleaning up after each other. They're keeping each other healthy and well-versed as far as resources are concerned. They're going to have a rally and a Transcendence to pay for their worth, only using the Nano Boost and the remote mines from Silver's Wrecking Ball in that last team fight. Self-destruct's coming in, but won't fight anybody. Crystal's under pressure, but will get out just in time.
In comes the Primal Rage from Marvel. Needs to be huge here. He gets anti-naded, though, as he comes in. He's so close to getting taken out. He's able to get back, though, towards a large health pack. Unhappy getting hacked here on top, but his team still in a good position defensively. They haven't lost anyone. He will give up his mech, though, on that dive that he comes in. And Molaran gets Yarg. DM does manage to get Waya, but Illusion gets Michelle out of mech. DM, though, with the big pick onto Crystal here, so maybe a chance. Needs another pick here if his team wants to have a chance to get this card to start moving again, but he gets taken out here. Silver able to get IDK as well. 57 seconds left, under a minute here, and we might have ourselves a game 5.
Last team fight scenario to set up said game 5 for T1W, but Illusion's going to go ahead and throw the Nano Boost out as he gets taken down by Lucid, and those orbs of destruction can be devastating. Unhappy just trying to find any and all cleanup, but Crystal with a nice headshot onto Marvel will be there to help out.
Yarg with the EMP and Wyo with the Transcendence are the two ultimates to pay attention here into the next fight. You do have IDK just getting up too with that Valkyrie, so an all-important ultimate that can make the difference here as well. Yarg already sneaking into the back line, looking for where he wants to use this EMP. He found his two targets. We'll see when he decides to use it here. He uses it quickly, gets both of them, but Wyo though gets Yarg. What a start here to the fight for the side of T1W. Silver now looking for DM, who's so close to getting taken out. IDK, though, able to Crystal and Melandron getting out by Lucid here, so still a chance for LFC to keep this going as they use their Transcendence. Silver here looking for his opportunity to get in. He almost has the mines here. Michelle so close to getting taken down. DM manages to find Silver here, so this is a pretty good start. Wyatt able to get Yarg. So LFC trying to keep their hopes alive of getting the win here. IDK gets the res on. Self-destruct here forces Waya back. Incoming with the rally is Melandron, though. His team doesn't want to give it up here. They want to end this now and force that game 5. But DM, being DM right now, he's seizing the day as he gets 2 here. Unhappy, though, in Silver. Able to get 2. They don't want to give it up here yet. The Wrecking Ball's continuing to go here from Silver as his team does have the spot advantage. Only one more with those mines. That's going out now is a couple of players. As Crystal and Unhappy, they get it. We're going to map 5. Map 5
Absolutely insanity. Oh my god, Labasco, I am on the edge of my seat right now, watching that Wrecking Ball do what Wrecking Ball does best, grappling onto the payload and forcing their way into a map 5, creating enough space and enough time for the supports to make it back. But the real play of it all was when IDK was flying back as the Mercy flew right into the mines of Silver 3. That is absolutely ludicrous.
Amazing plays that end this one here, and we're going to a map 5 pandemonium from that crowd there at the end as well. This has been insane. We get our deciding match here, these two teams in the playoffs going to a game 5 once again, and when we come back, we'll have that here for you on Contenders China Semifinals. It all comes down to this map number 5 between T1W Esports and Lucky Future Zenith. Up until this point, it's been a back and forth match. T1W winning there on Watchpoint Gibraltar to force this game 5 to try and take down the juggernaut that is Lucky Future Zenith. They've been undefeated through Contenders Season 1 and 2. And Panda, they're looking to end this here is T1W. We're going to Lijiang Tower. And of course, I'm Labasco. We're going to be hopping into this map in a minute. But Panda, expectations here from this final map that we get to see.
Well, especially with Ursa making his way back in for Yarg, the expectations will be set a little bit higher. Yarg not making the outing that he wanted, but Ursa looking to make this map 5 a solidification of how good LFZ are, in particular on control. But T1W, they're going the distance, man, and they're going it with speed. They are wanting to push LFC against the walls and push them almost to anything and anything they can possibly find. Their composition play has been huge. I expect T1W not only to continue their masterwork play in between the Brigitte and Widowmaker play for Crystal and Molarun as well, because it's been fantastic all day long.
For the side of LFC, the pressure has to be on. They are the top team in this division, and they are being brought to the brink here. T1W winning that last map. You know confidence is on their side, but both of these teams, you can see on both of their faces, they're both ready for this final map as we're finally going in here. I believe it was Night Market is what we saw as our first map here. No, sorry, it's going to be City Center. So City Center, where we're going for here. We know that the 3-3 comp is very popular here, but we also know Wrecking Ball is something we see.
Yeah, Control Center, City Center, something Center. There's one of these on every single map. It's fine. We're so hyped just to be here on a match 5. T1W is going to come out here on a 1-2-3 with Waya on the Ana, Molarun on the Sombra, while Lucky Future Zenith is going to come out here with a 3-3, Lucid on the Ana and Ursa on the Brigitte. Sleep Dart's going to come in early and not finding anything. The hack just got broken too.
Looks like maybe there was one hack in there, but Lucid able to get one. Michelle now another one. Silver did manage to get Ursa at the very least, but they're forcing back the rest of T1W here. So it looks like first take might end up going to the side of LFZ.
LFC. They are going to be accruing ultimates slightly faster than T1W, just by weight, 30% shy. Lucid, for the nano boost, is probably looking to give it to DM or Marvel to get their tank ultimates that much quicker. But Silver 3 already has an Earth Shatter. It's going to be their entryway into here. If Illusion can get that aura back on the Reinhardt and speed him past the shield, it can be devastating for LFC to deal with.
Oh, they used the bash to do it anyways. Looks like they didn't get as many as they'd like. Unhappy though, able to get IDK at the very start. Marvel ends up getting the nano boost here, but he's not able to do much with it. But DM and Erster follow up behind him, so they're able to push back T1W here once again. 30% is where LFC is so far.
And lucky Future Zenith, they absolutely stuffed the Earth Shatter, though a pick did come through. It's just about building ultimates here for T1W. 10% to Crystal's Graviton Surge. Molaran has the EMP in the pocket as well as a nano boost. Unhappy about to pop over the rally, but Erster falls and he had the rally in his.
And it looks like they're only going to need to use that EMP to flip this point, but 49% is what's been built up to so far. They're going to get a few more percentage points before the flip comes in, and now it finally does, 54%, and they quickly push up to that spawn door.
That quick charge over from Silver 3. They have the ultimates to hold this door, Labasco. They want to bait Lucky Future Zenith in because they want Crystal's Graviton Surge to be a team wipe here. LFC know it's going to be coming around, and both Brigettas, in fact, just waiting the perfect moment to rally, but the Graviton Surge is coming through already from Crystal.
They catch 2 in here. It's not a lot, but it's enough to let that team have to be pushed back in LFC, and they're going to get caught out. A couple don't get back into spawn, so they're going to get staggered here a little bit as they're up to 28%.
85% charge to Crystal's gun as well. That's a lot of damage coming through from the off tank of Zarya. Molaran is about to have another EMP, but DM throws out the Graviton Surge.
They use the self-destruct, who doesn't do anything here because Illusion had the sound barrier, keeps everybody alive. Ersker in here trying to deal the damage out. Oh,
big
good shatter on both sides. Marvel gets back up first here, and he's able to get one, has a nano boost on him as well, gets charged away. Crystal able to get DM here. He's looking for another one, but Erster able to get one. Michelle, another Crystal being forced back here. We're even as far as percentages, but T1W goes down. LFC flipping this one back, 60% for T1W.
Back and forth team fights continue on here. Lucky Future Zenith ended up getting the sound barrier out from Illusion after the Graviton Surge was committed from DM. But look at Crystal, to that past charge I was mentioning, already has another Graviton Surge. And look how far forward Lucky Future Zenith are holding, as they're just going to get grasped into the Graviton Surge, and the cleanup coming through from Silver 3 is an easy style.
Charges his way through, uses the Fire Strike to find another one with the help of Molaran, as they'll quickly get this back up to 80%, almost 79% is where LFC is. And they're getting some stagger kills here. This is huge, especially with the fact that they're already at 66%.
Silver 3 is going to have another Earth Shatter here, along with Waya holding on to the Nano Boost. They're just going to pick a corner and play them and bait them that much further, because it's another ultimate set that can come through from T1W to stuff them right in the door. Earth Shatter is going to come through already, and it doesn't find much.
And Silver getting the use of the nano boost here. Crystal able to find IDK. Good start here as it's up to 85%. EMP coming out now for Molaran. Silver getting taken down here. Looking for some more. Illusion with the boot kill on. And now they're finding themselves a Reinhardt. 93% here. T1W at 95. Nobody's probably going to be able to get back. 97, 98, 99. Overtime here coming out though, as somebody is able to get back in IDK.
IDK speed boosts his way around on the outside ring of the map, and now will put C1W on their back foot, trying to get back to the point as quick as possible. And Crystal, who's 5% shy of another Graviton Surge, just trying to use it to speed himself back to the point, is going to go down. Now it's DM who throws the Graviton Surge in, and it's Ursa on the cleanup.
And LFC going to have the chance to flip this one back. Only a couple players left here, and they're quickly getting staggered out. 81% here, so there might be enough time for T1W to get back into this one. They are at 99%. If they get it back flipped, they'll have the overtime meter going. Molaran here, sneaking behind, using his stealth to get there, so he can get a touch if they need it, but he's looking for an opportunity. Axiana here, he gets onto it, doesn't able to get the kill. He does see that the nano boost is up here as his team tries to get back on. 99%. They did get on! LFC is going to win this map, and they're going to be 1 point away from taking this and getting themselves back to the finals.
Match point here, Lobosco. LFC 199 victory, and the Graviton Surge from Crystal used along with the sound barrier from Illusion, just untimely, just missed it by that much. Ursa on the shield bash to stop Crystal from touching the point in time was devastating, but as we're loading over here to Night Market, you can now see both of these teams putting all of their eggs into the baskets of their DPS. Crystal coming out here on the McCree because he probably knows in the backhand of LFC's composition, Ursa is coming out here on the Pharah. DM, however, making the showcasing on the Widowmaker, needs to stay alive and find these picks because Silver 3 is going to come out here on to the Wrecking Ball along with Unhappy on the D.Va. It's a little bit tip of your hat to a South Korean lifestyle on that composition, and I love to see it. It can create so much space, and it can keep Illusions alive from just a sheer amount of pressure.
Tension is palpable here right now. You can hear the crowd that has been in favor of T1W trying to spur them on as we are on Night Market. Crystal trying to deal the damage out, gets the flashbang onto the Winston, can't get him down, and Marvell in that meantime is able to get one. Urster able to get two here, so good start for the side of LFC as they should get control here. Silver did manage to get Michelle out of the back, so that's something that's good at the very least for T1W when they come back into this fight. Michelle going to commit suicide to get back into this fight and get into the mech.
It's a good call, in fact, rather than waiting the time to build out the ult charge for another mech as well. So Marvell needs to be a little careful while the picks or the team for T1W starting to walk in. They're going to take the swap. Run on the Brigitte, just trying to stomach and get in the faces of the enemy team comp, but Waya will fall early.
So will Molanran, so a very great start here tonight, Market. 26% for the side of Lucky Future Zenith as they see that they're closing in on their chance to get back and face LGD.
And here we go, T1W. They're going to have a rally, nano boost, and whoa, Crystal was about to actually have the Deadeye swaps over to the Widowmaker. It's a smart pick. Good key swaps coming through from T1W just to deal with the members of Lucky Future Zenith, with Ursa hanging above this Epsilon. Is just trying to find the right time to barrage, but DM finds the head of Crystal first.
And then Michelle finds Silver, so the main tank on 51% here. T1W is scrambling right now. They saw within their sights that they could maybe take down the Juggernaut, and they have themselves in a tough position. Here is already up to 60% as LFZ.
And Molaran used the rally as well, probably an ultimate that they wanted to keep in their back pocket for the recontest. Silver 3 is not having an easy time on this Winston, and Molaran is going to go and help out that dive with a Sombra pick as well. A very good DPS pick coming out from this competitive player in particular all series long. It's going to help Unhappy set himself up for a nice self-destruct. Crystal this time finds DM.
That's a good start for them. Marvell able to get Crystal out, so neither side has a Widowmaker here, but Marzel and Urster doing what they need to do. Urster back onto the point. The flip almost coming through, but they're not going to be able to get it. They have to use their suicides to get back. 91% here. Will they even be able to get another touch?
It's a last team fight scenario here in LSC, looking to go ahead into the grand finals to face LGD Gaming. 3% now, and DM finds Crystal upon the re-entry.
They are able to get back here, but they're already short. Hey, DM, another one! DM not going to be denied here. Molanran able to get Lucid, but the overtime meter has already started here. IDK also getting in here, getting the res, keeping his team. They want to see LGD again. Crystal coming back in on the Tracer. Is it going to be enough, though? They're in such a bad spot here. Marvell and Lucid doing what's needed. Just have to get this Tracer off, and Lucky Future Zenith won't be denied. They'll go back to the championship. They'll see LGD Gaming once again as the Titan continues to push forward as they get themselves back into this championship game.
Night Market was a little more convincing than all other control maps played today, Labasco, but Lucky Future Zenith, against all odds, as much as they were pushed against the ropes by T1W, they will be going to the grand finals, like you said, against LGD Gaming. LGD Gaming will have a certain amount of knowledge going in because this, like we'd mentioned, is definitely the hardest that we've seen Lucky Future Zenith play the game of Overwatch.
You have to take your hats off, though, to the side of T1W Esports. They were so close to dethroning the champion of this team, of this group of Contenders China and Lucky Future Zenith, but Lucky Future Zenith, by the skin of their teeth, getting back to the finals. I mean, what can you say about this team in T1W? Obviously, they're going to be upset now, Panda, but this was amazing.
Well, they got to be feeling good, Labasco. If that one map victory in the group stage against Lucky Future Zenith said anything, it's how strong this team is against this juggernaut. Lucky Future Zenith, like I had mentioned, was pushed against a wall here. They will take it in the end of a map 5, and they will see the grand finals once again.
Well, the one thing that's good for them is they'll have time to look back over for T1W. Lucky Future Zenith, of course, advancing on, going to have a chance to win their championship once again and make it 2 in a row for Contenders China. That's going to do it here for us, for Panda and Labasco. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to go back to our desk, though. KT Kenobi, and Scribe going to break everything down. Guys, take it away.
Welcome to the emotionally confused post-game show.
I don't know.
Brought to you by Broadcast.gg.
Where do we start?
I don't know. I mean, obviously, the big story here, LFZ going on to the grand finals are going to face LGD Gaming, as has been mentioned about 8 times in the last 5 minutes. Let's make it 9, though. So that's going to be played about 12 hours, not even 12 hours from now. I should have had that time. We'll get you the exact time here in a second. Let's break down this second half, though. We need to say something here. Scribe, Kenobi, this was twice where T1W had a map, had the advantage, and threw it away.
Yeah, I mean, that first map on the game 5 that we just saw there from T1W, where they had all the ultimates going into that last fight. They had Nano, they had Graviton, they had a lot of ultimates to their name, and then just missing that chance to get on the point at 99%. That's really just probably worst case scenario, unfortunately, for T1W, because LFZ is a team where you cannot give those opportunities away. Panda mentioned it throughout the series that they're against the wall, but you need to finish pushing them through that wall, and you can't let them step back to you. And after that, it just seemed like it took all the sails out of T1W's momentum, and that's why it was so convincing on night market. So it's just really unfortunate for T1W there at the end to not get that last push in and not get that fight, and just miss that point. It's really unfortunate for T1W after the map we saw for it to end that way.
You look really distressed
I'm so sad
right now. Can we?
So sad. I was
literally like, why are they crying? And I'm looking at myself and Scribe, and I'm like, yeah, we look normal. And I'm like,
it's so upsetting because
because
we shouldn't have, it shouldn't end that way, and it's really upsetting to see it end that way, where you have an opportunity to win and then you just kind of throw it away like that. It's just really upsetting, and I wish, based on the series that we had, I don't think it deserved to go out like that. We deserved last map. It deserved to go much. We shouldn't have ended on such a swingy map at the end there. I just wish that we had seen a little bit closer map, and it's just unfortunate.
Well, and to be fair too, though, I'm really excited about an LFZ LGD gaming final. Like, as much as I wanted to see the upset here, I think that's the grand final that I wanted to see. So there is a silver lining. Twitch chat, baby rage, no more.
Only Bible
thump.
Only
no
Bible
more.
thumps. Only Bible thumps.
It's gonna be okay. We've got grand finals. It's actually at 5 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow. So 22 hours, 21 and a half hours from now. So get some sleep, that's for sure. Let's talk about MVPs for the match here. This is a big one. Scribe, who walks away with your MVP? If T1W is going to win, my first question to you is going to be, what color does Crystal want in his backpack? But I can't ask that one anymore. So who's your MVP?
We can still give him MVP.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not giving Crystal MVP. I'm giving Silver 3 MVP here. Like, the amount of room he created, and this is kind of exactly what we talked about. You play against a team like LFZ, the delicate balance between pushing too hard and not pushing hard enough is so important. But Silver was the guy, like, in the very crux of issues, like in the center, but he was the one creating room. He was the one getting great earth shatters off. He was the one playing aggressive. And I think as much as Crystal should get a large portion of it for carrying the team. I mean, you don't get there without having like Silver 3 pull out some of the moments on any of these maps. I think he's such an impactful player. He gets into positions where he needs to be, and he's creating room for Crystal as a whole. I think that he definitely deserves to have his name out there. He played so many different heroes. Let's not forget he even plays. Like, he even has a pretty good, if he really needs to, can potentially play DPS also in a quad DPS composition. He's extremely diverse, and I really want to see more of him.
Silver 3, I mean, it's tough because China definitely has a lot of amazing tanks. And I think sometimes Silver 3 maybe doesn't get the credit that we maybe get to like Goshua or some other tanks around China. So yeah, way to list one, John. Thank you. Yeah, it's getting late. So I definitely love the pick of Silver 3 here. What about you, Kenobi? Who are you walking away with as your MVP?
If I had to give it to someone, I mean, I would probably give it to Crystal. Just like he, as you mentioned, he tried to put all of LGD
What
in his
color
backpack.
is the backpack?
The backpack is blue right now for crying, or pink for Bible thumbs. It's either or. You can
Fair
go
enough.
either way with
All
that.
right, yeah.
If I'm gonna give it to someone on LFZ, I think it's gonna be DM. I saw a lot of issues coming out from LFZ that we didn't really see beforehand. Some of the communication, just some of the play in general was a bit lacking. Alt chart, alt economy, and alt patience was something that not LGD. So it was something that T1W did a lot better than LFZ. But when DM needed to step up and when DM needed to play Widow, he tried his best out to carry his team. He was beating Crystal whenever they were in the 1v1. A lot of the times it was more one-sided towards him. So I would give it to DM, but boy, LFZ looks completely immortal now, and it's going to be really interesting to see how they play against LGD in those grand finals.
Yeah, it's the shaky confidence. I mean, there's always been an issue with Korean teams. Like, when they take one hit to the jaw, they don't know what to do, and they kind of panic for the rest of the round. And that's exactly what we saw. Urster and DM. I mean, Urster has to go out for a game. I guarantee after the game, Urster's confidence was shattered. He didn't know what he was doing. You saw a lot of even though Temple Anubis was super close, it had no reason to ever be that close. So yeah. I think that this is one of those great moments where LGD, if they're walking away from the game, they're going to be scared of LGD. LGD's tank line. I mean, sure, Silver 3 had a great game, but imagine having go up against Gushra with this exact lineup after coming back from this. Like, Marvel did not look nearly as good as he has during the regular season. DM and Ursa look flimsy at best. So this is kind of like one of the best opportunities for LGD. We saw Shy and Eileen earlier today. I mean, they're looking hot. They're looking ready to play here. And LZ, they take a huge one to the jaw. T1W exposed them very completely. They showed that Sombra can still run circles around them, and this is kind of how this is. I wonder how they're going to fare tomorrow. Only one day of prep, and we know that Korean teams do put a lot of emphasis on prep time. But after this, you have to go rewrite your entire playbook.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see how shaky LFZ looked, like Scribe was mentioning, and LGD today looked very well on their play. And if they're gonna look at this and probably say, "Oh, T1W ran Sombra, we're probably gonna be able to run that." And Shy was doing a very good job playing the Widowmaker, and DM looked a little bit shaker on anything that wasn't Widowmaker. So if there's ever a time for LGD to take this series, I think it's now. You are looking at a wounded animal that is LFZ, but if LFZ can regroup, go back and just get a little bit more of a mental fortitude and not get shaken, a wounded animal is probably the most dangerous. So they need to be very careful.
Fair enough. Well, I wanted to talk a little bit more, one more thing, and that's on Molan Run, because this felt like a really just a atypical series for Molan Run. We've kind of talked to him a lot. I think at one point, Scribe, you said Molan Run is literally Eska. And now I'm not gonna like call you out on that publicly, besides what I'm doing right now, because what we say in a private chat and what we actually use for analysis are totally different things.
They are.
But Molan Run is, we just didn't see him look as, I would say, as sturdy as we're used to seeing him with. He's just always so consistent and always enables Crystal in such an amazing way. And when Crystal isn't playing well, usually you can count on Molan Run to play well, but that wasn't really the case here, Scrap.
Yeah, I mean, but this is just the circumstances. I mean, you're playing against one of the top teams in China right now. Molan Run, all you can do sometimes is just stage, like prepare for a fight, try to get into the midst of it, execute as best he can. I mean, it's not like LZ was giving him that many great openings. We saw a lot of great hacks. I think one of the big moments was to help Crystal get a free graviton search off. He actually distracts D.Va, gets the hack off just to get her to turn. And it's a lot of that stuff. Molan is extremely good with coordinating. He's the one who's trying to prep all the action. And yeah, it does come at a cost of not being super sturdy, not being the entire carry player. And it does kind of beg the question, if Crystal wasn't playing that well, would this still have gone to 5 games? And I think Molan does need to kind of go back at the end of the day and kind of like see, like, did I do as much as he could? I think him not unstealthing on point is going to haunt him for at least until the next season starts. And I think that there are a lot of mistakes that he could have overcome, but at the same, and I mean, I guess an even bigger one, we saw him struggle on Tracer on
yeah, his Tracer
Anubis.
play was really,
it looked like he had nothing else in the box besides to forget to, maybe Farah, maybe Sombra. Like, he needs to open up his pool a lot more. And I think that, he's going to be haunted by this game, but at the same time, like, he did so much. I think that you don't get to this game 5 without Molan anyway.
yeah. The DPS for T1W really did show up and match and even sometimes beat the DPS of LFZ, and that was the story going into the game. Can DM and Erster beat Crystal and Molan ran in? It was close throughout most of the matches, just a few hiccups along the way, like Scribe mentioned, like unstealthing on point. I think that was really the determining factor. And like we mentioned before, against LFZ, you can't be making those small mistakes. Everything has to be clean and cut. And just for T1W, just wasn't at the end, unfortunately.
Yep. Well, there you have it. That is going to conclude this broadcast. The semifinals are over. We've got a grand final game. LGD Gaming versus Lucky Future Zenith. Going to be happening at 5 a.m. Eastern time, which translates to 10 a.m. BST. Look at that quick maths there. You're welcome, everybody. Thank you for tuning in for this one, and a big thank you to the folks at Broadcast.gg. Broadcast.gg is a community of broadcasters that exists just to bring amazing competitive Overwatch content in avenues that otherwise we wouldn't have it, like an English broadcast of Contenders China and Contenders South America, coverage of Open Division, which I'm going to tell you about that in a second, Contenders Trials. So huge thank you to all the amazing people who make these broadcasts happen from all over the world. We're sitting in our studios and our offices, and a couple of us are bedrooms, and just doing our best to bring on an amazing English broadcast. Make sure to go follow them on Twitch at twitch.tv/broadcastgg, and follow them on Twitter at twitter.com/broadcast.gg. That's DOTGG. Guess what? You gotta spell it out. Okay. Don't all just everyone that's not on camera now just spelled it out. They mock me, chat. They mock me. I don't like that. Yeah. So we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. Before we do, if you want some more competitive Overwatch before the All-Star weekend kicks off, we've got you covered. We're heading over to twitch.tv/broadcastgg right now. We're going to be casting some Open Division. So that's going to be going on. So if you still want some of that competitive Overwatch fix, here's what you can have in competitive Overwatch today. In 15 minutes, you've got Open Division. Later on today, you've got All-Star Weekend Day 1. After that, you've got South America quarterfinals. And then later on, you have China Grand Finals. What an amazing day for competitive Overwatch. Grab lots of healthy energy supplements of your favorite brand and sit back, relax, call out of work, do whatever you have to do. Don't miss these episodes. Don't miss these games. And we will see you in about 23 hours for the grand finals of Overwatch Contenders China. Thanks, guys.